Hey everybody!
I'm Sam.
I'm Will.
And I'm Adam. We are
Working Titles!
It's happening. We're finishing season 3 right now. This is episode 59, The Other Side of the Wall.
I'm exhausted.
Me too.
Get your head in the game, damn it!
Guys, it's been a fun journey, and we are only one season behind you guys at this point.
Half a season.
Half a season.
It's been a fun time. It's been a wild time, and I'm ready to get what? We have 16 episodes left for the next season.
So potentially hopefully we'll be reacting to this live when the rest of it comes out. It's the end of this year.
We definitely will.
Holy fuck.
We're about to be going into our end game before we catch up with your end game.
Awesome.
Last on, we had, a couple crazy revelations. We know there's the 9 ring wraiths of Titans out there. We know you can only live with 13 years of your life with the Titan serum.
That's called the Curse of Yamir.
Yeah, the Curse of Yamir. Aaron's trying to conceal some truths about what him and Historia might be able to do together just because of the 2 power plays that are at work. And at some point we gotta see long-haired Aaron at the waterfront without his friends, so...
One last thing also, we're going to be having a huge discussion in this video about everything we want to know, our thoughts, our theory craft. We do it every episode, but this is going to be for everything we've seen in this show. We have a list we're trying to get through, so if you want to see that, stay to the end of the video for the full discussion, guys.
Yes, sir.
Guys, if you like this video, leave a like, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when we drop more Attack on Titan. Comment down below your thoughts on our reaction, and in the description is the Patreon. If you guys want to see Attack on Titan a week in advance, hit that, join the community, and guess what?
This is not a market substitute. You gotta go on whichever anime streaming service you prefer, watch Attack on Titan over there, and then come back to our YouTube channel and watch our reaction, alright? We love you guys. Punch it. Bah! It's been a long journey.
I know.
Gurney.
The Gurneys.
And the real journey's about to kick off after this episode.
Yeah.
We're now going into Mordor.
Yeah. This is the end of 2 Towers.
Yes.
This is what we're about to watch. Just tell me all of them right now.
I love this guy's voice, by the way. I never said it, but...
See, yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless of who's inheriting it, it's always trying to seek freedom. It has its own spirit.
The Attack Titan.
That's a great shot. What the fudge? See?
I guess he didn't look as much like the monkey as we thought.
Kind of looks like a monkey.
I mean, it does. But when they showed that shot, he looked more like fighting style, you know? So what, would she like ride him? You know what I mean? Like his head.
Yes.
So he could do the ability. Get your head out the gutter.
I wasn't even going there.
You both looked at me like that. And we're gonna get this Mikasa and Armin. Yeah, see? I wonder if
who knows?
I wonder if Grisha remembers that. You know what I mean? And whose memories are those? You'll never know. That's really cool.
Season 1, maybe.
Well, no, that's the.
It is season 1.
Well, I know, but they were sitting.
Paradise. Yeah.
They were sitting at the edge of it, like past the walls and everything.
He said that's his grandpa's book.
Yeah. Armin's.
Remember, things still whatever traveler still had stuff, but it really came down to who kept their books and who didn't when their memories were wiped.
Yeah, because what, the Great Titan War, or whatever they called it, was 80 years ago, so it hasn't been...
really like 90, almost 100.
Yeah, so basically... yeah,
that makes sense!
The 100 years, they've only been in the walls for 100 years. Whoa.
It's crazy that this is still that same season. Just these past 2 episodes alone have felt
like a whole new season.
Yeah.
I told you, this season's a mindfuck.
Everything about this season, from the conspiracy, Kenny, like, it literally feels like we've seen 3 seasons and 12 episodes. Yeah. You know what I mean? 59. Nice. True.
しかしこのことを公表すれば彼は大混乱に陥りますぞ。そうだ。我々でさえ事の大きさを測りかねている状
I
態
mean,
に
it's
ある。
not that crazy. It's just another country is warring with you.
レース王がやったように何も知らない民をこの壁の中で買おうという
I love Pixis. What a great man.
ならば我々には何の大義があってレース王から
True.
ったのだ。
Talk your shit, bro.
公表しましょう。
I respect it.
100年前レース王が民から奪った記憶を100年後の民にお返しするだけです。我々は皆
Extra, extra. Read all about it.
Get your papers.
You're a titan.
我々と同じ祖先を持つ民族ユミルの民だった。
Oh gosh,
我
imagine.
々の王は100年前にこの壁を築き巨人の力で民衆の記憶を改ざんし壁の外の人類は
How are people even supposed to believe that? Who have no understanding of
人類
stuff.
は
Yeah,
it's all they have.
我々ユミルの民をこう呼んでいる
Ugh. Yikes.
悪魔の民族と襲
This
撃で
is
ある。
so wild, man. All for resources.
もう記事は出た後ですが一連の話の真偽を
Yeah, see, they don't even believe it.
It's hard.
我々がずっと抱いていた疑問とは辻褄が合ってる。そりゃ信じたくないですよ。そんな話。
Yeah, it was a lot easier just to know that we're fighting the monsters that are.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
It was just easier not knowing the question. Look at Levi.
ああ今度は調査兵団を担いで記事を書くといい。
Yeah, give some glory every once in a while, please.
私たちが巨人を恐れ憎みどうかこの世から消えてなくなれと願ったのと同じように世界中の人々が我々を人ではなく
What a flip, man. They thought they were humans looking at the rest of like them as monsters, and like the whole world looks at them as a monster. What the fuck, man?
That's so. Ugh, I hate it so
神が
much.
死滅するまで地獄は終わらない
Yeah, makes sense. Barry told we want two things: Aaron and all of you dead.
Dead.
That's all we want. Oh, okay, cool. Barry told.
いや
Thanks.
壁の英雄たちよ
Cool. It's gonna be sad.
勲章もらうの見る
Go away, big booty thick.
そうだ
Marlo's not here.
マルロは最後まで勇敢だった
I love Marlo.
Yeah, he was a good man.
そうだろフロック話してやる
First hand count.
ああ、マルロ・フロイデンベルクは俺と同じ9号入団の新兵で、その中でも俺たちをよくまとめてくれた。
He did.
現場は絶望的で。調査
Marlo said, "Go forward." Doesn't matter if everyone's not with us anymore.
あいつだけは仲間を鼓舞し続けた。
Sasageo. Is she blushing? No, not really.
あいつはす
She
ごいやつだっ
wasn't.
たよ。
Yeah, she wasn't happy.
だから
でも最後はあそこに行ったことを後悔しただろう。
Oh, that's so
あり
sad.
がとう式で励ましてもらってやるから
おいなんでそんなことを
Give her comfort. It's all good.
でも誰かが本当のことを言うべ
Man,
き
this is
だ。
the first time this kid said something I agree with. Fuck Flock.
I know. The second we saw him, I was gonna say that. I was gonna flip him off too.
君がエルヴィン団長
He
に
speaks for the little
必
guys.
死だったことは知ってる
No, Gene John Gene speaks for the little man.
団長
That's
がふさ
it.
わしいと思った。でもそれは俺だけじゃない。みんなだ。
No, don't we all? No
読
one.
んだ誰もがそう思った。なんでエルヴィンじゃないんだって。
No.
I mean, a lot of people did not like Erwin.
お前
Yeah.
が
Dallas Zachary even said, if this coup didn't go well, I would have sent him right to jail.
Yeah.
俺は幼馴染じゃないし。
I
でもなんでアルミンが選ばれたかはわかる。
I hope this guy dies next season.
リヴァイ兵長が市場に流され、注射薬を私物化し、合理性に欠ける判断を下したからだ。要は、大事なものを捨てることができなかったからだろう。なあ、もうお前そろそろ黙れよ。
That's right. Know who you're talking to.
お前って腹の底じゃなんだって自分が一番正しいって思ってんだ
No, he doesn't.
I kind of agree with
だから最後まで諦めな
Flock.
かった
I do.
毛のね
Yeah.
ガキみてえ
Listen, I love Armin, and I was with Aaron, but we both love Armin too much.
おい君に何だってんだよ僕これから死んだ仲間を
Yeah.
弔おうって
Please.
場なん
Yeah,
です
like,
Anywhere else.
like that's my
終わっ
thing.
た話を蒸し返すんだよこれから補充する調査兵団には本当のことを言えよ俺みてえな腰抜けが間違って入ってこねえよ
He's like Jean in the earlier
エルヴィ
seasons.
ン団長そりゃ俺みてえな雑魚
This
捨
kid.
てるぐらいしか使い道もねえだろうがそんな雑魚にだってな値踏みする権利くらいはあるだろう
And I still agree, because that's exactly what Gene's stance was in season 1.
Yeah, but
He's a soldier supposed to follow orders.
that's not the problem.
That's, yeah.
エルヴィン
The problem is that if you're joining the military, you have to be ready to be thrown away like fodder.
Exactly.
That doesn't really have anything to do with following orders. It's more so just like you accept what your fate's going to
なん
be.
でそ
But he's getting at that they weren't even following orders. They chose to ignore their superiors and acted like they were in the right.
お前は見たのかよ
At the end of the day, it was Levi's decision.
Yeah,
The superior made the call.
何があるんだ
I agree.
Doesn't matter what anyone else says. So, fuck Flock. Fuck anyone else's opinion.
And Levi was gonna do Armin
意味
first.
があるでもまだ見てないだろ俺たちはまだ何も知らないんだよ炎の水も氷の大地も砂の雪原もきっと壁の外には自由が
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, he's gonna have to relive these memories.
時間だ
It
並べ
it is so quiet in there. Like everyone can hear this conversation.
Yeah. A pin could drop.
Oh,
Creepy
man.
music.
This is so wild. Such a change. Even just the outfits, too. Like, it's such a... Yes, get
I like
those bolo
those.
ties. Mine didn't show up in the mail in time.
Oh, it has the wings of freedom.
Yeah.
何かを変えることができるな
What is gonna happen if she touches him?
らいくらでもさせてやるんだ
Oh shit.
He has to kiss her hand.
俺には
I love how you're asking.
ヒ
You've
ス
seen
ト
the
リアを
show.
犠牲にす
I
る
don't fucking remember this.
どうすればいいこんなこと誰にも
Oh man, he's gonna make that choice. Oh boy.
Oh, I was gonna bring this up.
外から来たエルディア人
Oh,
あなた方と同じユミルの民です今すぐ壁に攻めてきた巨人を殺してください妻や子供たちが壁の民が食われてしまう前に
They did nothing.
And what did she say to that?
Oh.
God.
So,
Ah. Let go.
え
He's
He's
probably
in- he's in another
destroyed
world.
mentally.
oh,
Dude, this is like Sam every time we watch Attack on Titan. Aaron is literally Sam.
積もった雪が溶け出す頃兵団はウォールマリア内の巨人
oh, wow.
Wow, so they cleaned everyone out.
Holy moly! Good job, guys.
街道の舗装事業が開始される頃には
Yeah, their road was not used for 5 years.
蝶が待っていた
It's crazy.
許され
So
た
much land to have to go and scour to make sure there's no titans.
1年
Oh my
In a
lord.
year, whoa.
Yeah, even still. One day somebody's just gonna walk into a house and there's some titan chilling.
ウォールマリア内に入っていた巨人がほとんどだった
Wow.
俺たちは奴らを1年でほぼ淘汰しちまったらしい
Okay.
そんじゃ予定通り目的の場所を目指すぞ
What's their target? The sea?
Yeah, what's
Oh,
the
it's
next
pretty.
step? What do you do as the... Wow, look at that. It's growing out the hair.
I like
It's been a
it.
year.
What's gonna happen? I don't like this. Damn it.
あそこに
Ew.
What
Yeah.
the fudge?
動けないのか
Just kill it.
It did move though.
体で
No, stuff was growing behind it.
Yeah, so it's been there for a while?
Why?
おい
Flock's like, whoa.
楽園を国にされた
Ugh.
俺たちの同胞だ
Ugh. To think every Titan they've killed is just their people.
行こう近いぞ
Is it gonna cry? Oh, if it started crying, I'll lose it. Are they not gonna kill it out of mercy? We're not gonna mercy kill this thing?
Flock might.
こいつをこのまま置いてくのか殺さなくていいのかよ
What if it turned around and started running? Like it just got up and was like dun 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 dun
I
dun. dun.
don't like that. I don't want to let them live, man.
Yeah.
Just end it and be done.
Gosh, they've probably never seen like desert before. What the heck? Look at them. They're like, what are we looking at?
Oh my gosh. Oh my
That
gosh.
wall, yeah.
It's the port.
Dude, imagine. Oh, and it's right on the other side. I'm so excited.
Oh, it's huge.
How do they get over that?
間違いない
So where does everybody go?
What do you mean?
Aaron's in the shot alone.
Oh, you mean from the beginning of season 1?
Yeah.
Maybe he actually was talking
Or
to
se-
Armin
season-
there.
yeah.
Or season 3. I'm sorry, season 3.
Look at the reflections down there.
Yeah, the water. They're really on an island.
A fiery sea.
Oh, it's the end.
God, they can't even believe it. Look at Sasha's face. Gosh. Doesn't even phase Aaron. He's already,
seen it.
He knows what horror lies beyond that and like what his people had to go through.
Woo! Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, the shell shot.
Conch.
The magic conch.
Oh, conch.
Here's the season 3 shot.
It's something! Mine!
本当に全部塩水なの？何がいる？
おい早く
Crabs.
毒かもしれねえから触るんじゃね
I love Levi. Levi's just like, why are we doing this, guys?
Yeah.
Aw. Oh.
Ah, I hate this. I'm so scared. This is too happy.
There it is.
言っただろうエレン。商人が一生かけて
Yeah, that's the beginning of season 3.
巨大な塩の湖があるって。壁の向こうには。
海があって海の向こうには自由がある
Oh.
とそう信じてたでも違った海の向こうにいるのは敵だ何もかも親父の記憶で見たものと同じなんだ
What the fuck are those?
No idea.
Sea slugs.
向こうにいる敵全部殺せば俺たち自由になれるのか
Damn. Oh, I didn't know his mind was gonna turn this way. I did, but I didn't think it would. Alright, somebody translate that script right there, please. I think there is an after credits for this one.
I don't remember what it is.
I hope it's just like Zeke and the whole
Whoa.
army behind him.
Looks like a city over there.
What? Car 98.
I know, it's just we're
Playing
reliving.
everything.
Steamboat. That
Trenches.
looks like World War One.
It is. Wait, what?
I think that's what we're heading into. Oh boy.
Oh.
Everything leads back to one point.
time jump.
What? Oh, boy.
Okay.
Want to just go through what happened in this episode, and then we can get to our...
Yeah. And we can talk about season 3, part 2 as a whole as well.
Yeah.
We've kind of already talked about everything we thought of part 1.
Yeah.
Goodness, what was the first thing? This is all just blurring in my mind.
Telling the people what all of history is.
Oh, and what's actually happening
And
in the world.
what's actually happening. And that their enemy is all the way over there. And they're all subjects of Ymir.
I feel just in line with the news reporters. Like, this is like, I can't even imagine what it would be like in real life for this to be a thing to get announced to the people. I've seen the coast in the U.S., but say I hadn't, and said none of us actually have, but we just know that's a place that maybe you can go to. And then one day we all just wake up and we get told that on the other side there's a whole world out there, and we just thought the U.S. was the only thing that ever existed. I don't know. It's like I can't even like find a decent analogy for it. Like, it's a complete flip of what your reality is, and I feel it just because of we got to see Aaron's perspective of it all.
Yeah. And I mean, even like the whole, I feel like the hardest part about it is that they've all grown up within their lives, whether it be by brainwash, if some of them were old enough. Well, I mean, it's been 100 years, so no one presumably is like was coherent enough to be alive when they all went over, even though their mind was wiped. But for everybody's entire lives, they've lived knowing that what the enemy was, and the enemy was outside the walls, and that it was almost like it was nature, and it was not nature, but it was like monsters and like abominations that have come to this planet to just ravage us and destroy us.
Yeah.
But in reality, these are your people. Like, these are your brothers, your sisters, your cousins.
Yep.
You know, like, these aren't... It's not just... And, like, you know, it's hard to... I think it's kind of hard sometimes to describe just because, like, you know, we don't... Not everybody, but, all, like, at least where we're from, like, there are a lot of people that, like, really resonate with, like, their people.
Yeah.
Like, their nationality and where they're from. Sometimes in the U.S. that gets a little lost just because, like, we get so used to, like, American culture, and we more so relate with, like, you know, the people from, like, the states we're from or the cities we live in. But, like, thinking the enemy is something that's, like, almost the devil or, like, they're demons or something from hell. In reality, it's your own people that's getting turned on you by the other enemy that's humans. Like, that's such a hard thing to, like, wrap your mind around.
The closest comparison I can think, and it's a bit morbid, but just if we're doing real world comparisons, it's like medieval culture and the what they're using in the trebuchets to throw over are the heads of your people that got caught and happen to be on the opposing side at some point, or a bloody strapping a bomb to somebody that was on your team who haven't get caught, and they're sending them over to detonate you. I mean, that's as close of a comparison I can think of, and it's just it's so messed up. And it's like I'm trying to even find joy in the ocean part just because we get to see it through Aaron's lens. It's like we already know that we're about to go into like really
horrible.
I mean, they're pretty much taking bits from like our worst parts of real life history. Taking out the Titan portion, it's pretty much just analogies of the worst atrocities that our own wars had in them.
Yeah.
And it's a little... I mean, I never experienced it, but just from an empathetic point of view, it's definitely a hard thing to, like, see, so...
So, what happened next was...
The funeral and ceremony.
Flock's stance on... And I understand his stance on, like, saving Erwin might have been the smarter choice or might have been the better choice, but... Even so, at the end of the day, regardless of who yelled, I mean, like, Levi and Hanji owned up to all of the decisions of that battle. Yeah. Like, they were in charge. At the end of the day, they had all the power and control. Like, Levi had Levi had the vial, and no one could stop him. I mean, even though Mikasa jumped on him, was literally about to kill him, and he was still tired, and she had, like, seemed to have more energy, someone swooped in and stopped her, and at the end of the day, it was his decision.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think that anybody has a right to... I mean, yeah, you have a right to have an opinion about it, but at the end of the day, it's done.
Yeah, it
like
happened.
it happened. Like there's
in
no
the past.
point. There's
Yeah.
no point in like arguing and fighting over it and making someone feel bad.
Yeah.
Like Armin, like I think the thing that makes me mad about it is just like Armin didn't have a choice in the matter.
No,
he was
didn't.
dead.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm there with you.
I'm not saying you weren't. I'm just voicing
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
my own
I'm
opinion.
saying I equally blame Flock as I do Eren in that scenario. I'm not comparing anyone else. I'm saying
Yeah.
both of those people. See, in the moment and in the heat of it, I mentally was with Eren because I had already come to terms with Erwin, so I wanted my greedy self to keep Armin alive. What Flock was pointing out in that moment when Mikasa was telling him to shut up, he's like, no, it's not fair. You guys are right now being subordinate, trying to sway Levi to save your guy because of your own personal connection to him. And now at the same time, Flock was also trying to do his...
Flock was doing the same thing on the other
he
side.
just was able to conceal it better because it happened to coincide more with what Levi wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it's not that... Levi wasn't choosing to do Armin as his first choice. It just happened to be what was there. And then what the discrepancy with Levi and Eren happened to be when
Erwin comes up.
When Eren called him out and said, you couldn't have known.
Yeah.
But then Levi does say, well, my first initial thing was that I was hoping that it might be a possibility. And that it is a true statement because the first thing he did after capturing Zeke, which made him lose Zeke, was that all he was thinking about was...
I need to get someone over here.
Or he
Erwin.
thought Erwin personally. He was like, is there anyone... But in his head, the only image that came to mind was, I want my man to come back.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I don't disagree. I'm saying Mikasa, Flock, and Eren were all being very... they were hoping to get their own motive.
They're being selfish in
to
what
be
they wanted
fulfilled.
for it.
To be
Yeah.
fulfilled. And the thing that I do... I still get the sentiment of when you join the military that you should know the consequences of what you're getting involved with. I think where I initially aligned with Jean back in season 1 wasn't the idea of not being willing to sacrifice your life. It was that
Being filled in.
so that, and not that you have to know the scenario, but when you have people that seem very eccentric and you're not sure if you're going to trust them, is your life really being meaningfully killed off, or are you just dying on some... And that's the worst
On a
part.
whim.
And that's the worst part, because Flock doesn't personally know that Erwin has legitimately been sacrificing almost selfishly of other people's lives.
Every fucking person that's in the Scouts.
That's the worst thing, and I still love Erwin, but
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is Erwin has relentlessly, indirectly murdered the majority of the Scouts
Yeah.
just on a whim
Yeah.
and a guess and a gamble, thinking that it was in the end gonna serve a means to an end.
But didn't...
And that's why they call him a devil. And I
Yeah,
agree.
I was just about to bring
he's
that
kind
up.
of a devil.
Flock said, I have to resurrect the devil.
Yeah, he is saying it's not fair that this guy gets to
Got
have
an
his
easy
full,
death.
his full circle after relentlessly killing people who never get to feel satisfaction.
He
The
wanted
thing
him to suffer
the thing is,
more.
Erwin technically gets satisfaction. He gets satisfaction that Levi has made the call for him, the hard call of you're not going to learn the truth. He was dealing with the whole like, do I just run for it, the thing I've been working for? And he couldn't make the choice. Levi had to make it for him, and he settled for that.
My only other like point of it too is like going back to like Gene in season 1.
Yeah.
Like his opinion of it is different than Flock's because, and I know their situations are different, but Gene in season 1 is coming in like, you started the Scouts yesterday, I started today. You seem to be a little more informed than me, and we've been through the same exact thing. So I'm like, yo, just like throw me a bone. Like, what are we getting ourselves into? When we've been in this fight for, a year at this point, or even if it's only been 3 months, however long it had been since like Tross to now, like, and I say this in the most respectfully way possible, but like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, you had literally showed up today. Like, where do you get off thinking that like you get to have the say and all this stuff? Like there's some, like, I think it's prerequisite if you're willing to join the military and join the fight and all this stuff. then you should know what you're signing yourself up for. You're signing yourself up to die. Now, granted, if you've been in the fight and we're all in here, like if we were in this fight for 3 years and Adam is left in the dark about stuff, but you and I know it and we're all the same level, that's fucked up.
I'd be pissed.
Well, that's why I'm confused. Well, at the dinner, he said, "I've been in the 104th, same as you guys this whole time," and you never.
Well, he's clearly never experienced any of it. I don't remember exactly.
No,
how.
he was a new recruit.
Well, he said I was in the 104th Cadets, same as you, so I don't know. He says that specifically.
I remember him being a new recruit.
Oh, maybe.
So that's where and he was
he
like
an MP?
But he was saying you guys specifically have seen stuff that some of us haven't gotten to see because of I don't know what the circumstances.
It might just be because they were always around Levi and get tossed into all the battles and stuff.
So I just presumed when he said that it was that he was those people out on the boundary of the trees with Barricades, not in the important things because he was kept out of it and just was always one of those people in the dark following a song.
With you, I agree, because it's like a rank thing. Like, they've been in this for years, so of course they're going to know stuff, and he's what I assume is new. I could have swore it said he's a new recruit. He shouldn't have to know anything.
Yeah, it's just, and it's not even like, you know, in reality, it's only like a 3-month difference, you know what I mean, from Tross to now, and Flock being new, I mean, he's new by like he's new by a month, but he's missed out on a shit ton of stuff. I just think it's just, like, get off your high horse.
Exactly.
Like, you don't deserve, in the same way, like, Aaron really shouldn't deserve to be the one to make the call, but on the flip side, he's the fucking, like, he's our savior at this point. He's all we got, so if he can, it's just dumb. It's a dumb argument because Erwin and Armin are borderline interchangeable for what they serve and the purpose. It's just one is old and one is young.
I see the similarities because I know Armin and Erwin. I'm just saying I feel like I'm saying for Flock, I feel like the reason he came into the picture was because Mikasa and Aaron's selfishness.
Sure.
And what he said to them is that you can't exclude me. It's not fair that people like me and all my buddies, we just die, and you guys get to make the call. Easy peasy over here. I don't remember the exact thing, but he was just speaking for the fact that because they were trying to shut him up, and he was just saying like it's not fair. There are other people at risk, and here you are just trying to make a quick, easy, selfish decision for yourself.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It had to be a quick decision, because what if Barricades started regenning right there? They had to pick somebody almost immediately.
I don't think that was the issue, because I think it was more of who dies. Is Erwin or Armin about to give their last breath? Because they can cut off Barricades' arms right there. It's not about Barricades.
It's more about the other two.
That's why Zeke was like, see ya, Bear. I don't think you're coming back, dog. And he just ditched him.
So after that,
we had... Yeah. The almost predictable touching.
The predictable touching flashback.
Yeah.
Which we didn't get answered.
Yeah, we still don't know, technically. And that's funny, because I did bring it up. I didn't know if it was going to be an important thing ever brought up again, but like we still never got clarity on the time of what that really was, what they were doing in the chapel. Like, Frida at this point has already had her initiation.
Yeah,
so what were they even doing down there? 2, like, we still don't know what she gave as a result to Grisha's ultimatum. Like, what are you gonna do? The people are here. You gotta make a decision right now. And she doesn't. We don't know.
He also said king, so that does confirm Reese is Fritz.
Yeah.
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 Just change the name.
Yeah, they're the king's family. They're the king. She's the king, queen, whatever you want to call her. Yeah, and it's crazy too because like I know. Earlier, I was kind of like, maybe Grisha was on the side of, like, Marley. Now we know that their name is not Homeland. We'll call them the Marley. The Marley crew.
Yeah.
Now knowing that he was just, like, more so trying to, like, beat the inevitable, like, get to the king and be like, yo, like, I need you to, like, we need you to fight back because they're going to show up soon.
Yeah.
And they're going to kill my son and my wife and this kid I'm taking care of. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if you don't come and help us... Like,
wasn't he asking them, can they control the Titans that are going to come?
I don't know I don't think he exactly said that. I think he said, you have the power to control the Titans. control them and save everybody
Okay.
and beat these guys because they're going to come and try and take your stuff and they're going to kill everybody, including my family. So
I wonder what would they have said.
that's just why I'm like it cut off right before she actually got to say anything.
She got pissed, and then she calmed down, and then it cut to Grisha, and then nothing.
Yeah. Cut back to the funeral or the medal.
And I mean, we know the end result.
Yeah.
Frida bites her hand. He
He
stabs
himself and gets in the fight.
beats her up and kills all the children. So like, and what happened that he had a result to that choice? Like, that's the extreme. So what led him to kill them?
Is it
as a
you're not
patriot?
going to do it, so I'm just going to do it?
That's what I think. I
Yeah,
think
but like, where does the children murder part come into that? That's
Probably
the
just-
excessive part.
That I don't.
That's there's no motive between killing them.
Maybe he was thinking they'll rise up against him or something.
That's
They'll
the only
say
alternative.
it.
well, it also could have just been a rage play. I mean, you gotta now that we have the full backstory of Grisha's life, you gotta remember, just like Aaron Owl, whatever his name was, just like he was saying, like, the reason I picked you for this was because of your hatred. You hated your father. You hated the dude we just killed. You hated everything about this place because of what they did to your sister.
And he's gonna
And now
people who are doing nothing.
Yeah, and so like to me, if I've already lost one family and now I've made a new family that
I'm not
I've
gonna
loved and
lose that
lost,
one.
I'm not going to lose it again. And if you're not going to do something about it, like
I'll take it in my hands.
I'm literally like I could see out of rage him just being
Yeah.
like, "Fuck it, I'm killing all of you. I'm eating your Titan. I'm going to go fucking do it myself."
Yeah.
The one thing that confuses me about it, and I don't want to jump into like our questions too quickly, but I just want to say it because we're here, is just like, I know people corrected in the comments that he left first, went to speak to the king, and on his way back, that's when the wall was broken into, even though I was insinuated that it was at the same time, because that's what they kind of insinuated in the episodes. But regardless, like, why did he wait till then to go and do that? You know what I mean? Why did he wait all that time to go and do it when he could have just got married, had the kid, and then just immediately gone? I mean, maybe he had to figure out like where they were and who this.
Well,
done
maybe
research.
it's like he waited till he knew, like there was a kid, aka Aaron, who was going to be ready to take that. Maybe he had to get a wife, have a kid who he can pass it on to first, and live a life.
He sounded scared the way he was talking to them. So like, what if he knew that they were about to be invaded?
Yeah, that's the only thing. Is just I'm curious how he would have known.
Yeah.
Unless it has something to do with how, like, you know, he was not related, but working with the Ackermans.
Yeah.
Like, if somehow Mikasa's dad and mom had some intel about that. Because I don't know. Because otherwise, but even so, that happened a while before. Like, they died a long time before.
Okay, and this is in my Q&A, but honestly, what we're talking about now is like a whole thing. I feel like we can jump into in the later half.
Yeah,
I got a whole section for that.
I just brought it up because it was happening. It was just right there.
No,
Sorry.
No, it makes sense.
I'm just curious how, because even if it didn't happen at the exact same moment, it's a pretty big fucking coincidence that within within a month, a week, however long you want to say, that he does that, and then Zeke and Zeke didn't pop up, but him and all his homies popped up for it. So it's just pretty weird that happened all at the same time, and we don't really get why did it all start when it did.
I guess it did happen before Bertold because where Keith Shadis is when he runs into him is right when he learns that the Armored has broken through. He's in a town, and they say, the Armored is coming through, and then you hear, Keith! Which means he just learned about it too, which means he was already, because he
already got his founding Titan.
He told Aaron, I'm going into the interior to do my checkups. So during his checkups, he went and did the thing, and so that's crazy. So my initial idea was that it was because of Bertold, but so there is a weird moment where he decided to go do it, not because of the Warriors.
Yeah, because they weren't there yet. So it's just a weird thing. But digress. Let's back to the episode.
Next thing, this wasn't the episode with Ymir. No, Ymir. That was last episode.
That was last episode.
Okay. It's all blurring in my mind. I'd say the next thing wasn't it leaving?
Yeah, it was them riding out past the wall.
And they found the Titan. Sorry,
or it was the
it
was the explanation of that a year has passed. A year's passed since Trost.
Oh, and Mario's cleansed.
Mario's cleansed.
No more Titans.
It's funny that they mentioned that, and my immediate thought was like, how can you be sure? That's because it's like if we always talk about the distance of 138 kilometers, that's just north to south. Like, all the distance, that's like checking every area in a state, like every inch, and hoping that you know where it is, right?
Well, in fairness, remember, the Titans only come from one direction, and now we know that's why, because they were getting sent from there. Yeah. A, and B, that's why they have the nipple walls. We haven't talked about the nipples in a long time, but that's why they're there, because the Titans congregate to large groups of people.
Yeah.
So
I guess I'm just thinking of like abnormals sometimes that
True.
It's like I'm scared that like one day they'll just go to a forest and there's like one they didn't account for that's just gonna bite them in half.
Yeah.
Because those things are terrifying. That very gross one in the field, it's you know, it was one sad layer to know it was Connie's town initially, and now it's another layer to know that it's just their own people.
Yeah.
And it's another one to see, like, even Aaron walking up and being like, he was a patriot. Like, that was one of our people. He just got sacrificed for no reason.
He got stuck on the wrong side.
So it's still happening to this day.
Yep. I mean, I still would have probably killed the Patriot. I'm right there with you when that Moon episode happened, where that guy's just the Titan sitting against a tree in the dark. Kill him. You don't know if that's going to be the zombie that eats Mikasa one day by accident.
Or just, you know, honestly, I would say more of like a mercy kill at this point. Like, these people, I mean, we know from Ymir said it was a living hell. So it's like, why don't we push past and...
Yeah.
You know, like, let this person finally be at rest and send them to another place.
It must be weird, like, for them to go out in the desert, seeing a whole new terrain that they've never seen, and then the immediate next thing they see is another wall. Like, just to know that, even if they weren't sure if the stories were true, now they're getting confirmation because somebody had to build these walls. So that has to have been the first reality check. It's like, okay, we built these walls. Somebody's definitely here. If I didn't believe it once, I definitely believe it now. I mean, surely you would believe it with Reiner and Annie, but maybe you can come to other conclusions.
I'm just thinking of the Notebook OVA when that Titan bows and says Ymir.
Well, see, and that's a different scenario. That's before. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, I'm pretty sure that the consensus is that it's the blonde one that knew who Ymir was. Mm-hmm. But then again...
No, there's another layer now.
Now there's another layer. So, like, was that Titan thinking that was the original Titan? Which I don't know why... I don't know why I would think it was Ymir Fritz, because that girl was normal. She had nothing about her.
Maybe it's thinking it's one of me, a subject of Ymir.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going with your theory about everybody being intertwined, it could be as simple as that. The only counter argument would be, why doesn't other abnormals behave like that to any other Ymir person?
And that also made me think of the discussion we had last recording, just the previous episode. Let's just get into it later.
What?
Just say it now.
Because it talks too.
Yeah.
We're not considering that as a special Titan.
I would say that's an abnormal, yeah. I'd say that was abnormal behavior.
So because that, to me, that counts out Ymir, I don't know.
It's confusing.
Yeah,
it's so confusing.
That's good, because we're going to jump into that, because we have we have more in this episode.
Well, it's just the only thing that's really left is that they finally made it to the sea. You know, Aaron is like reliving. He's like, Aaron can't even enjoy anything. It
sucks.
It seems like Aaron is fully dived into all of his dad's memories.
Yeah,
like it's really hit him. He's not the same guy anymore, because it's not the same Aaron that was a kid that I want to fight everything. You know,
kill all Titans.
I'm gonna set the world on fire. I'm gonna go beyond and you know, it's crazy too, that whole kill all Titan things. How twisted that was. He didn't even realize it. Now he knows his ambition was to kill his own people. Mm-hmm. But now he gets to the water and everybody's having fun. Armin's playing in it. Hanji, Sasha, Connie, Jean. Even Mikasa was enjoying her time, and he couldn't even...
Damn. Oh,
he was so fixated on freedom.
I honestly got chills when he said, I always thought like Beyond the Wall was freedom. And then I thought when we get to see it be more freedom, but in reality, it's not freedom. There's just enemies on the other side. He's like, the only way we're gonna be free is if we kill everyone on the other side, which is like
the world.
That is a fucking like scary realization to like hit. And like that was literally what we were left off with.
I literally just thought, and it almost made me cry just thinking about Berthold's death now.
Yeah.
He says there's what was it? He says it's not my somebody's gonna have to do this regardless. And then he like shouts out for his friends. Literally, it's like those are his people.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
He's been brainwashed to think that they're the enemy, and then he literally tells Armin like there's no good and evil. It just happens to be like this
the winning
thing
side.
I'm just the
up
Eldian that got picked that I have to go kill my brothers.
It's so messed up, and the worst thing is like he's not even mentally cognitively there when he wakes up to see Armin grab him, and then the first thing he does instinctually is to call out to his own people. And then they don't listen, so he responds to the buddies that he made, the warriors, Andy and Reiner.
That's so fucked up.
That pisses me off.
This
so
show
much.
is so bad. Before we get started, can I pee? Just because I know we're
Yeah,
gonna sit here
I have to pee too.
an hour.
So messed up.
This is literally like a whole topic in my head that I'm just
Yeah.
like,
I have so many
not
thoughts.
fleshed out, and it just doesn't make sense.
I'm glad I'm not alone.
Before we get into this is our discussion of everything for the show so far. I mean, even Adam, who's seen up to where we were all caught up at the same knowledge base level. I will say, this is probably going to be really long. We definitely worked hard on trying to figure out what we all want to talk about. So please appreciate this. Because I guarantee most channels are not going to do this. So if you're a nerd, you like this shit, leave a like. Alright, we ready?
Yeah, alright. The Grisha Files. So, I have it set up chronologically, and I'm just going to pose these to you guys, because obviously we don't have the answers, I don't have the answers. Some of these I do think we've gotten answers for, but we could definitely emphasize the conversation a bit more, so... Oh, thank you. Alright.
My nose.
Starting at Season 1, Episode 1, called To You in 2,000 Years, The Fall of Shiganshina. The first starting question. What do you think the title means? So one of the only times I feel like a title actually has significance, and because of where we've currently gotten to, I feel like it definitely has to mean something.
So with, like, when you were talking about Owlboy being, like, Armin and Mikasa, and he's like, whose memories are these? Maybe something to do with that, probably?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that, like, this whole memory thing is really weird, because now we know it's not just the founding Titan. Like, it's, like, all of these Titans. And, I mean, that even confirms with, like, the Armin and Berthold thing, like, the weird, like, transition we have right there.
Yeah.
And the whole, and like what I've said, like the past couple videos, the whole like convergence of all of the Eldian people, like it could be something where it's maybe it could be two things. One, it could be Aaron's story writing to the future of the Titans, or like the future of this world that maybe still has Titan power remnants. Or to flip it all on its head, this could be like Yamir Fritz's message to the end, to the final. Hey, like, this, in my DNA and in what I'm dispelling to the 9 other Titan spirits and what you're going to eventually get, Aaron, this is my message for you. What is that message?
Insert.
No fucking idea.
Like she's talking to him?
Well, I don't mean like literally talking, but like maybe in like through the memories and through his philosophical ideas or whatever, you know. It could be a message from her down to him.
We might get the apocalypse by the end of this show.
Exactly.
That's kind of what I feel like this is
what I'm
going to
thinking.
lead more
Yeah.
to like
Just
the end of the world.
2,000 years, we've already gotten 18,000 years of history, or 1,800 years, 1,800 years of history, and then the almost 200 years that we've been in this show. I mean, it hasn't been exactly 200 years, but like Grisha's time is there's at least 100 years during the race family transitioning from Fritz. So we're bordering the 2,000 year period. We're getting close, I think. So
yeah.
Next up, it goes into Aaron's visions. I did a still by still shot when I was looking at it, and I'll probably put images up so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, the first thing was the flower bed, which has blood squirt, which was Hannes' death. We had a Titan eating a man with a collared shirt. don't know what that is. It's just a man with a collared shirt being eaten by a Titan.
Oh man, I wish we had these stills up.
Yeah, I know. Windmill farm, and then the next image is the same shot, but Titans are there out of nowhere. But it could just mean the walls have broken through and now land has been taken over. The red military uniform. This I wanted to talk about just ever so slightly. We've seen this a couple times now. You know what I'm talking about?
Aaron sees that?
Yes. It's like it's like a kill second. I didn't even know they showed it in the first episode. The shot, remember during the season 3 outro where they were skipping through those images and we looked and we saw like a red militaristic with like accolades. But I looked closer.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like it's a statue that either broke off or it's like a waxed figure that's melted off. So it was like somebody, like a person wasn't wearing it, but there was like a suit. I don't know if there's anything to look into it, but now that we know there's like royalty happening that's more important than we thought, maybe it's either a statue of somebody we know. Who knows?
Yeah, it could also just be because all of that stuff to me is just foreshadowing of just like quick flashes of it. I mean, even Hana's death. Like we're talking about 30 episodes in the future and whole other season. So between that and all the stuff that kind of basically just sums up what happens in the show, that could just be like a final immediate you're gonna see this. You're gonna see some type of war with some type of land that we don't really recognize as of yet.
Yeah, and the next one, piggybacking off of that, is a bed of nice toys and nice royal looking curtains on the walls. What I thought of when I watched it, just knowing where the show goes and currently knowing where it goes, it could be something as simple as Historia's children. We don't know if there's a time jump if she has children down the line.
Yeah,
it could be people that we know.
Or it could have been Frida. Remember Frida? I know she was a little bit older, but Frida's room. Remember when he has the flashback and you see the whole royalty room, her old toys, stuff like that.
The last thing is the smiley. Carla being picked up, and Aaron wakes up crying. I was laughing. Well, not laughing. I was going in hysterics during the episode because Aaron woke up from the jail cell crying, and it's I was going to bring up the fact, and they definitely confirmed it now, it's he's literally living, it's like a dream that you're forced to live a reality when you go to sleep. He's you know how you wake up from a dream, sometimes it can be emotional if you saw somebody die, but it's the reality of it's actually...
It was something that happened.
Yeah, that's why he's crying at the start of episode 1 when he doesn't realize it. He says, please don't tell anyone I was crying. And she's like, well, why were you crying? I don't know. It's because he's literally living his father's experiences as early as the first episode, which is crazy.
Well, it's weird, too, because the first episode, I think he's also more so just living the future experiences.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The immediate future experiences that he doesn't even realize is coming.
That's crazy. Hana's death and his mom's death in a single sitting without even knowing the shadowy figures that are dying.
And also it was done by his dad's
first wife. His stepmom.
His stepmom.
Yeah, that's messed up. Some of these questions are a bit smaller, so we can skim over these. But
fire away.
I'm just curious because I don't know if they'll ever bring it up again. We got Pastor Nick was the very next shot after that, and he's in the streets. And I was thinking to myself how do these people end up gaining power, and who's allowed to be granted the access to these things? I don't know if they'll ever address that kind of thing.
One of the 4 manipulators of King Fritz, one of them looked like a pastor. He had the robe and he had the gold on, so something with that maybe.
Yeah. So I just always wondered, how early was it
probably
that people
Reese,
can get information?
Reese had something to do with it, probably.
I mean, it could just be you just get in that circle of trust, you know what I mean? It could just be a 3 pastor down, the regional or the district pastor, of District Trost was I like this guy, takes him under his wing, he takes his place. The one that's the pastor of whatever wall they're in, they like that guy again, he takes his place and moves up. You know what I mean? You just keep moving up, and because of people under your wing or people taking you under their wing.
This answer, I think we already have an answer. I was saying, does Carla know anything? I don't think Carla knows anything.
No, I don't think she knew anything.
She was completely in the dark.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
I wrote, Grisha says he checks up in the interior, and I was wondering when exactly does he attack the chapel, and how does Rod escape also? How does Rod survive that whole incident?
I mean, they literally just said that Rod snuck out in the fight.
That's crazy.
So he kind of just
ditched his kids.
I mean, he was a scumbag.
And didn't they also say he immediately rebuilt the chapel too, right after that?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the top chapel, where I'm assuming Mr. Beast Grisha had bursted out of. I don't know.
Because we saw him, he was standing a distance away from it as it was burning down.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really understand that fully yet.
Well, that's the hard thing too. Is like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he would have done it immediately. Weird, but yeah, timing is weird because they just don't really. They're not very specific, and also the thing that's weird too about the whole thing is that like in episode 1, it feels like Grisha leaves, and then like within that same day, unless I'm just wrong in like reading how that timing happened, but it feels like Grisha left, and in that same day is when the Colossal attacks.
It does.
It
feel
is
like the same day.
But
For
then,
sure it is.
but that's the thing that doesn't make sense because Grisha would have left, gone all the way
to the other side of the bloody
to
country.
the other side of the country, fought the Reese family, and then on his way back, he runs into Keith Sadie's, and then
He's a Titan, he can run super fast.
But somebody would have seen him, surely.
Outside the walls?
It's inside the walls. Remember, we talked about this last time. The chapel is inside the walls.
Right, but there's no civilization around it. It's in the middle of nowhere.
It's up north in civilization. You have to just go out into the fields.
he could have run up there, but it just
I
seems
feel like somebody would have reported that on something.
it would have been a
But a
little,
normal thing, like, oh, there's a Titan, but it's running away from us.
But that's the thing. That would have been
but inside the walls, and this is before they broke in.
That's what we're saying. That report would have gotten
True.
out.
Also, even if he could run fast, they came at like sunset. Like Bear told them arrived at sunset.
So maybe
he would have had to do
maybe
fucking fast.
I have to imagine it's a different
Maybe
day.
another
We're
day,
just-
yeah.
We're not told about it. I don't know if this got answered. How would he have really shown Eren the secrets in the basement now that we know what it is? And did he just put that much faith in his son's desire to go out into the world? Because he says he was going to show him in the basement. We never got that opportunity,
I
but
feel like we can't really answer that until we've seen what Eren saw, what Freda was going to say. Because his intention before he left was, I'm going to show you what's inside my basement, and then something happened, he slaughtered the Reeses, and then he was like, I'm injecting you with this, your memories are going to come back slowly.
Yeah.
Eat me.
so like, what did he ever even plan on showing Eren the basement? Would he have trusted his son with the info? Like, what was the?
I feel like something had to happen.
But here's the thing, though, is like, why would he? Because of how it went last time.
Like revealing
no,
it?
Cap.
When he revealed everything to
Zeke.
Zeke, everything fucking flipped on its head.
That's
So
why it's like.
would you have even done it, or was he that naive to think it would have
I don't-
worked a second time? I think
Maybe
would've
it
worked
could have
with
been
Eren.
like.
But
Gosh,
I just wonder, just because Aaron's will is so like, Aaron almost already has a patriotic desire about him. Like, remember, all he wanted was to be for humanity. He believed he so much hated the Titans. He was such a different kid from everybody else in the world. Everybody wanted a comfortable life, where Aaron, a young 10-year-old for that matter, is telling adults, "You gotta get your stuff together. You're a cop. You gotta protect the wall.
Yeah.
because you're not doing your job." I'm a kid and I know that. So maybe Zeke was just not that kind of person.
That I was gonna bring up. He went to his grandparents, and his grandparents were always about follow the rules. Grisha's dad, so maybe they also had a role to play into it. Zeke making that decision, and Eren doesn't really have grandparents in this world. And like you just said, he's very hot-headed about doing your job and being human,
Yeah,
and going outside the walls too.
two very different sons. One who I don't think would ever betray his dad, without the knowledge that, like, if he had been given the same info as Zeke, I feel like Eren is the type who would have obeyed his father.
Mhm.
I don't know for sure. It's hard to know because the info is different.
Yeah, and it's also like their idea of like Zeke didn't grow up hating Titans,
Yeah.
Right.
whereas like that's the one thing you can't really account for because now like Aaron's been mind fucked alone because he spent all this time hating the Titans, despising them, wanting to literally murder them all, and then it's like, wait,
They're one
that
of
is
us.
literally like my people.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Didn't even kill that one in the episode we
yeah.
just watched.
I have two more for the first episode. Don't worry, we're not doing every episode. I just hit the ones I think had the most questions. Do we know the Smiley Titan? I said, shown way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we know
too
what that is.
too much emphasis on that one.
Outro. I briefly just said it's why choose outer space, descending to Earth, or an Earth, followed up with the imagery of Mikasa's day where she gained her power. Just the imagery is the stars. You pass a moon that looks like our moon, and then it doesn't have to be, but like a similar moon with a similar Earth, and then like the very next image of all the parts in the show to display is a knife falling to Mikasa and then her becoming an adult. It was just weird because they specifically focused on her. Don't know if there's anything to read into it. I know we kind of been at least I've been talking about maybe the powers come from extraterrestrial or parasitic or whatever. So I just felt like bringing that up.
I don't know if it's necessarily alien or if it's more so like the heavens. You know what I mean? I guess they could be interchangeable, but it's just weird the whole thing about the spirit splitting and like that goes to a much more spiritual realm than like the alien realm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not so sure about that.
And also, they were the king's like guards, the Ackermans.
Well, the only reason I will still like the idea of a parasite, like in my mind, a devil could still be like, here's the secrets of the world. You didn't know that there's these things that you can have in excess. Because it's like I still don't know how they have all the liquids.
Yeah,
so it's like they still have something without a devil being present for who knows how long. This devil figure that we don't know about hasn't been around in the story since the beginning of this 2000.
Right.
So who knows what secrets he revealed to Ymir. Because I do think there is like a tree of life, and because we've seen an apple, there has to be things that are like representative of our own religious world.
Yeah, because the fruit. She has a fruit. She has an apple.
What are you giggling about?
You're okay, you're not gonna be able to see this, people, but on Sam's notes, it says McKinley Yeager, June 1st, 2021. I'm sorry, that was just really fun. I just like looked over and I saw that. And I was like, what the fuck?
I didn't want to I wanted to give myself a character name. I actually, when I bought the video game, I gave myself my own AOT character name. I can't remember what it was. I'll let you guys know eventually.
The game you sent me?
I bought the Attack on Titan 2.
It's for Xbox.
Yeah, it's a fun game. Go play it. Okay, next episode is episode 2. That day, the first thing I have is this
The Fall of Shiganshina Part 1.
Yes. Is this history accurate? Because it starts with an intro saying, Titans appeared over a century ago. Survivors of the encounter erected 3 walls.
Wrong.
In 100
had
years.
a century of peace as a result.
Yeah.
So, at what point did a Marley town start sending these Titans? How long have they been doing that?
Well,
I wanted to point out when Titans were locked in arms. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you noticed, there were people running towards the walls outside of them. No, they were tiny. They were small, and there was people just chilling, farming inside.
Yeah.
So one thing they said was that it's like weird. It's like a truth and a lie at the same, like a half truth, really, because like they had an 80-year Great Titan War between the Marleys and the Reese.
We better see that.
I know, we better get some
See
type
that.
of flashback of that. Reese family specifically said, fuck this, we're done fighting, we left, they took some of their people with them.
It said it took many of their followers. I'm
Yeah.
thinking Ackermans with that.
Yeah, I mean, like, they probably took the Ackermans and, like, the rest of all these people that are Ymir descendants.
Who were the Easterners? They talked about too?
So, when we talked about, we brought it up at one point in one of the videos, but apparently it was a translation. It was supposed to be Oriental, meaning, like,
Wow.
Eastern Asian
okay.
people. So
Russian, Japanese, Chinese, Indian.
yeah, but for some reason they're resistant to the Reese's ability. But we don't really have any more explanation about that.
Right.
So yeah, they clearly didn't take them with them because the only one that's there is Mikasa's mom and Mikasa. So
And Levi.
The next things we almost answered all of them. So what caused the initial assault? We now know because there's been subjugating wars against each other. At what point did the Reese family gain their power? It seems like they've always had this power since the breaking of the 9 spirits. Did they steal it? Nope. And hope to start a different society? I mean, yes, they started their own society, but they already had the power. They didn't steal it. And did they wipe out the memories shortly after the wall's construction?
Yes. It's like they wiped out the memories while they were going to.
This actually I answered while I was driving over here. It was, how are the walls really constructed? And we talked about it because we were like, it's weird that there's walls and that they made moats for rivers to go, like, pass through. Now it doesn't matter because when we see Reiner and Annie, they both specifically choose what they want to make out of the diamond. He makes claws so we can climb a wall. She hardens her skin to kick a leg off.
Or kick something, yeah.
So And we've already seen the cavern, so I'm assuming anyone, all it takes is really thinking of something you want to make and doing power, and it will just produce it. Like Eren did a shifty shaft job when he made the cave. I'm sure all he thought of is beams to hold up the walls, and beams just bursted out, and it was really choppy.
Yeah.
As opposed to let's cocoon ourselves.
Yeah. And we saw the painting of just specifically the Titans just literally locked arms as people are flooding in. Like, they're just like, let's make this now. We ain't got all day.
Yeah. The next thing I had was, what were the exact assigned tasks of B, R, A, and M, Bertold, Reiner, Annie, and Marcel in the warrior crew?
I mean, their goal was just... Oh, what their specific task
Like,
was?
did they have specific tasks the day that they showed up? And I said that because it's the episode where Reiner busts through the wall. Was that Reiner's singular goal? Was he supposed to have done all the other stuff, or was that supposed to be up to Marcel and Annie for the rest of it?
So, I think what I kind of rationalized in my head was that, and just from what we had seen in other episodes, Bertold appears, he breaks the first wall. Reiner appears, he breaks the second wall, or breaks the gate. Annie appears, and she leads all the Titans in. And then I don't know what Marcel does, because we never saw what his Titan could do, really.
I
So-
always thought that the Ymir Titan might be the capture Titan.
Well,
Like, it just chills on Annie's back and then jumps off when it needs to capture the host.
possibly,
Yeah.
but you gotta remember, too, and this has kind of been our whole debate about, does Ymir actually have the power of that ninth Titan?
Yeah.
She
Or
already
not?
had a big
because
jaw.
she was already shaped like that. Like, it wasn't like Eren, who was a little
Yeah.
pudgy Titan, then turned
It's
into
true.
the big guy.
That is
She
true.
ate the friend and just turned into normal.
Interesting. So I wonder what...
Yeah,
I wonder
what the fuck?
what our Jaw Titan is, what it will look like once the right host is using it.
Yeah.
Like, we have somebody who's eating Ymir. What will they actually look like? Will it be disproportionate like Ymir,
Yeah.
or is that specifically only what we've been led to believe for 2 years?
I think that's
Two
just
shows,
what we were
seasons.
supposed to believe with Ymir. But that's what I was trying to bring up off camera
That's a good point.
earlier, is like, that.
Last one for that episode. Why did Grisha pass the Founding Titan to Eren? Now we know. 13 years.
Timeline, yeah.
All right, skipping ahead to
Curse of Yamir.
the world the girl saw, which is all the way up to Mikasa's episode. What happened to the Eastern cultures? Genocide? Still alive but far away? Or Titans wiped them out? What do you think?
I don't know, because
Yeah, I don't know.
they said specifically this continent also, so like we don't even know. Like, we literally saw like a very small I mean, it's a big portion of land, but we only saw a small portion of land.
Like,
so
one of my questions from when season 3 ended on my phone.
Yeah,
Are there any other lands?
I mean, there has to be, because the Marley land, the whole fucking reason that they're pushing there is because they want the fossil fuels. And I'm
Yes.
sure they want to get rid of, like, the Titan issue and just get rid of the, what do we call them again?
Yeah. Eldians.
Eldians. They want to just get rid of them all. So, they said they were competing with other other countries. They want to be the number one country in the world, and I would assume they're probably going to aim to
Other
take over.
countries.
So if there's other countries,
Oh.
there's probably other lands. There's not going to be one fucking continent on the whole planet.
With my follow-up question is
Pangea.
that, are there Titans over there too?
This is Pangea, one continent.
I don't think so, personally.
And I think Marley's the name. I'm not trying to be a dick. I think Marley's the name of the people who took over Eldia, because the Eldians came first. So I
Yeah,
think it's
it
called
was- it was
Eldia,
the
and
El-
then there's Paradise.
It was the Eldian Empire, and then that got taken over by
Marley.
Marleys, and then the Eldians were pushed to Paradise.
Yeah. So
Uh,
Eldia.
And it's kind of like
Paradise.
Middle Earth. Like, we
Yeah.
only see like a quarter of what the world actually is.
Yeah.
We never go beyond Mordor. We never go north of the Misty Mountains. We never go south of, or I guess it's north of Harad. So I feel like I would like to go outside. I would hope the show maybe can take us somewhere else other than hometown or Marley Land, but we'll see. Like, I can't imagine they're gonna always be a Marley Land, because I just feel like it's Nazi Germany. You can't survive there. You have to go find maybe another civilization to go and work out things, get better resources than the less than 100 horses we have now to fight this. You got to go somewhere else, or like go to the Ackerman Land if there's an Ackerman Land. Go and get people who one can't be mind controlled or affected by Titan powers.
We're still doing this chronologically.
Yep, we're still, yeah. So, still in the episode, did Dr. Yeager know about the Ackermans? Did he help to create Mikasa's ability? Where were We're the Reeses, the creators. Does this predate our show's timeline? So
I don't think he.
Yeah.
There was one episode or a few episodes where we were saying, like, was Dr. Yeager going around doing stuff to other people? I think he was just being a doctor.
yeah,
And
I agree.
Mikasa already had that ability.
Yeah, I don't think he did anything. He probably knew, because I think really what his goal was the whole time is, you gotta remember, he went into the country not knowing anything.
And he had to learn.
He had to learn everything. He had to
Tell me
learn
everything.
to tell me everything. He had to meet people. I mean, he probably for a while thought King Fritz was the actual king, because the name was King Fritz. So it probably took him a while to even realize who
Probably
the
why it
Reese
took his
were.
time.
That's true. That too.
I
So
wasn't sure if the Rod Reese was the guy to
I'm
go
sure
after.
he learned about the Ackermans at some point.
Do you realize that Al said doctors make good spies, and he's a doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the point
Fuck,
too.
people
Yeah.
trust doctors.
What the fuck?
Your first initial goal is to think, yeah, I can trust a doctor. They're supposed to heal me.
Yeah.
You never trust a doctor who's... And what's the first thing that happens? I mean, he might have given the plague just so he could cure the plague. That might have been his worst sin, is that he caused the plague to make the world trust him. And look how well it happened. Hannes knows his name.
Everyone
you got
knows
Keith
him.
Shadis, like, your son did it. Like, everybody knows this bloody guy, except for us.
They did say the great Dr. Yeager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hannes is like willing to die in the first episode almost to thank him for saving his wife back in Bystander episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
He saved somebody's... Yeah, it was his wife.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Is this the event? Oh, this is for the Ackerman thing. Is it an event-based thing or an age-based thing? Like, does the power kick in based off age, or is it based off a stressful environment?
I think it's like adrenaline
You
in
think?
that
Yeah,
moment.
I
Because
think-
she hasn't done it since.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure because she hasn't hit what would be technically puberty age yet. Like, that's
At
how
that
we know,
time.
At
At
that
that time.
time. She was, 9 years old, 10
Yeah.
years old, so... like, we never knew where Kenny's moment was, or Levi's yet. We
Yeah.
don't know.
They just said it happened. I would imagine it's probably like
No
just
regrets.
true. Yeah.
I think it was no regrets. So we'll get to that too, but like
Well,
I
he,
think
he was also exceptional at fight. I mean, he was beating people up when he was 12.
yeah.
When Kenny just left him, he was
That,
whooping
yeah,
ass.
that could have been like skill,
training and
skill
skill.
with a guy who's already powerful, and then it kicks in hardcore.
True.
Well, has he even had that experience? That'd be my question.
Levi said he did.
Yeah. 'Cause
Okay.
Levi said I've experienced the same thing. I believe because he pieced together even before it was confirmed that he was an Ackerman. He was like kind of like I'm pretty sure that's what.
And that's why I thought it might be stress based, because like Meech, who's a good fighter, and Erwin, who I guess was a good fighter, they both were able to whoop Levi, or at least subdue him until they could pin their friends. In my mind, this following episode when he slashed that Titan, it's like there's no way those two humans should have been able to compare to Levi. So it had to have been his friends dying that kicked in the Ackerman ability, because he slices that thing to Kingdom Come.
He cuts off a Titan's head. No human has
than
ever
the
done
Beast.
that.
Worse than the Beast.
Yeah. No human's ever cut off a Titan's head.
I said, is Aaron's early psychopathic behavior naturally willed or predestined? I wrote that because he is like a 9-year-old kid who murders 2 men. And like I know the episode's kind of briefly skimmed over it, and the court brought it up saying it's a bit bizarre. But now that we know that Aaron has psychologically preordained things that are going on, do you think his lashing out was a result of all the people that are stored up in him? Or just literally a kid who's super willed?
I think survival instinct kicked in, maybe. I don't know. It's pretty fucking demonic for a 9-year-old to do that.
I wouldn't say yeah, it's instinctual to protect. I was just saying it's like I've never heard of a scenario where a kid's done stuff like that.
I've never heard that.
Yeah,
I mean, besides kids standing up to bullies.
I don't know if it's because it's weird because before he even got the Titan serum and he was having visions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it might be like a preordained thing that it's always been decided that this is what's going to happen. You know, and that's kind of like going. Sorry to keep bringing up this memory thing and the coordinate and everything.
Well,
being
that's
connected.
why I think it might have to do with it.
Because if everything's connected and whatever the coordinate or the Titan or whatever this like thing that's going on, if it knows the future from beginning to end, it can tell a person that doesn't even know who Mikasa and Armin are because they're not even fucking born yet to say that. Like, who's to say that even before Eren got that Titan stuff, if he's somehow connected to
he's fighting like a full-grown... How does a kid know to strap a knife to a stick...
A broom, and
fucking stab a guy? I mean, it's crazy. And that's why in the first season I was like, this is really weird. Because I've never seen something like this. Yeah. But at the same time, we have Eren, who might be extremely exceptional to everything.
Yeah.
There are kids who show signs of being psychopaths that do fucked up shit
and
like
that's
that.
true. But I would also say that also comes
Killing
with
animals.
mental conditions as well. Which, as far as Eren has for him, he's unstable because the scenario is not born with an issue mentally where there's an imbalance. I don't know.
And if you really think about it, he totally knew the situation before he even went in there, because he had the knife already.
Mm-hmm. No, he was ready. That's what I'm saying. It's creepy. And his dad didn't tell him to do that.
No.
And that's my next note. Grisha was actually pissed that he went and did that, and now we know it's probably because Grisha's been prepping, and this is honestly probably a confirmation that he was prepping to have a son ready to take the mantle of whatever he was going to do. And I literally said, is there a plan with him in mind? And I feel like we might have an answer. I feel like he probably was why he waited so long. He did his research, figured out who might be the Titans, have a son so you can pass it on. You only have 13 years to live. You got to do a task. So, all right, we're jumping far ahead. Episode 12. Does Eren have his own separate conscious, or was Eren upset when Mikasa yelled at him and it leaked into his Titan, which led him to attack Mikasa? Remember that moment with our first big debate?
Yes. It's so hard to know because we don't know how this 9 spirits of the Titan work.
Yeah.
Because I back then was just feeling that maybe it was just more so the Titan nature of just being
going into a primal instinct.
Yeah, going into a primal instinct.
It's pissing you off.
But now knowing all this stuff about the 9 spirits and all that stuff, maybe it's just he lost control and that inner... I mean, it could be the same answer really, but that inner nature took over.
Yeah. I also was like, it does make sense because Mikasa's really harping on him in that episode. So it could make sense that... Well, he connects it. He goes into the Titan. First thing he sees is the person who's just pissing him off. Yeah. Regardless of how close. He's in the primal. I'm going to attack the person who was pissing me off. It just leaked in.
I mean, it's kind of like the same thing of when he died and turned into the Titan. He didn't even know what he was doing. He just started fucking beating the shit out of all the Titans.
Because he knows instinctually that he hates Titans.
Yeah.
So it's the leaking in of his own personality. Do you think there's more to be read into the dream state that Eren had while he was comatose? And I only say that because what would have happened if he handed over the reins and not been called out by Armin, who shoved a sword into his back? Do you think there would have been anything, or do you think a Titan would have just eaten him? Or do you think the spirit itself can reclaim if the host stops doing their anything?
I, for now, would just say it probably would have just been him knocked out. And
Titan
him. I think it would have just been giving up of his will to fight. You know what I mean? Kind of just like when they talk about when people are about to die. You know what I mean? And they're just they just give up. Yeah. So I feel like it would probably be something like that.
Yeah. And a Titan comes and eats him. Alright, jumping up to 15. This is the Hanji episode where she tells Eren some info on the Titans. Do the Titans weigh the same as the original human? Or are they lighter because the muscle is just condensed air that disperses as opposed to when you measure meat from the flesh of a person? Is it because we're looking at the weight of condensed air? Or are they supposed to be the weight of the human that possessed them? Only because we have moments where Annie literally steps on the neck of a Titan in the air and throws it to the ground.
Right.
And it's how?
But it's also weird because they clearly have force.
Weight to their force.
They have weight. There's some type of mass there because if there wasn't, then the Titans wouldn't be able to smash buildings and all that stuff. Yeah. So
They move despite how much their mass shouldn't be moving as quick as they are.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's because she has that Titan ability. She has some strength.
Yeah. Or like,
But
I
then
even
also,
thought of, like
there's
Hannes.
a scene where Hanji is holding a Titan's arm as it's disappearing.
Or even think of Hannes, who was able to jump in front of the Smiley Titan's strike, and he just stands there and takes it.
Oh, yeah.
And nothing happens. He's like looking at the kids, isn't this crazy? How the heck was he able to take a hit? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I don't know what to make of that. That's never made sense to me from the beginning, and I didn't know if that's like a hint or maybe something we've missed along the way, which is very possible, but I just don't know what to make of that. Other than the fact that, in reality, if that's just for us to assume that like their real being is a lot smaller, i.e., they're really humans inside.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't really have an answer. It was just an if or. Same thing for the next question. This is in regards to the introvert-extrovert thing they talk about. Do the original human personalities decide whether a Titan will be introvert and extrovert, or...
Like Sonny and Bean.
Yeah, or were Sonny and Bean willfully different because of the body size, meaning a larger item will be able to absorb more sun, therefore they can be more attentive at night, as opposed to the small one, which was tired during the night. Is it about the body size and how much they were able to absorb through the day?
I think that's probably the best answer, is it's probably body size.
Yeah.
How big their tank is that they can consume or store energy.
Were they? I thought they were the same size. They were bigger.
One was far bigger than the other one.
Far bigger.
I would say one was at least a 7 meter, one was like a 4 meter. I don't know which one it was, but one was like they had to get sitting up, and the other one they literally had to
Lying
strap
down,
down because he was too big.
Okay.
And the one who was too big was the one snapping, where the other one was just like never attacked Hanji really.
Yeah.
So they
Maybe it is a size thing.
Yeah, I think maybe the little one didn't absorb enough sun, so not enough energy during the nighttime. Jumping all the way to the finale, because the rest of the season was really just spectacle with Annie. What triggered Aaron's berserk mode?
Yeah.
And why have we never seen it again?
The lava veins. Was
it him or the Titan that wants to destroy the whole world in that moment? And I think we can kind of answer that now. I don't think it's the spirit. I think it's probably the vengefulness of all the people prior. The owl and his father. But what do you guys think? With the berserk thing, why has it never happened again?
I don't know why it's never happened again, but knowing what we know about Grisha, I think that it's just
the freedom thing.
Yeah, the buildup of the hatred and like the wanting to be free, and you know, I mean, it's kind of like
I'm going to kill everyone.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a twisted look of like, you know, like let my people go, like like Moses type of deal. Like instead of being like let my people go and we're gonna fight to get free and we're gonna get free, like Aaron's like, no, I'm literally gonna fucking kill everything until my people are free.
And what's weird, during the comments when we were in season 1, mind you, this is before the manga has finished up, so I don't know how accurate people's statements were. They said the blue eyes and the fire was just an anime, was just an artistic choice.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should read into that, just because this show specifically has made it a point that almost everything matters, and very little times that something has been brought up that hasn't mattered. That's what I mean. So I feel like I just think it's weird because we've never brought it up. No one's even mentioned the fact that he melded Annie into him.
That was going to be my question.
So what do you think about that too? Is that his power?
I don't know.
What is the
one of the
Attack
weirdest
Titan?
things.
Was that the Attack Titan power?
I think
was it Annie doing it or was it Aaron?
I think it was Aaron unintentionally, but I think that might be more of a founding Titan thing. And who knows, maybe because we haven't we haven't really realized this, but now that we know there's only 9 Titans, and we know that there is like a like, you know, the possibility of like the Pokemon thing of him collecting them.
Yes!
Like maybe that could be a different way instead of consuming them, like because he already has
absorbed it.
He already has 2. What if he just fucking absorbs her spirit power or whatever?
Ymir.
Yeah.
I think that might be what it is.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird because it's like a very pivotal. It's the finale.
Yeah.
And no one ever talks about
it. And we
ever.
never bring it up again.
Ever.
No. But they did make it a talking point to be like,
what were you doing?
What were you doing? And he even said like I was like melding with her. Like it was like I melding with her. It felt good. All this stuff. It never brought up again.
How did he stop? Did Levi cut him out?
Levi jumped in and sliced his neck. He said, "Boy, don't kill our only evidence." And then the last thing was for that, and the end of season 1. What will become of Annie Leonhardt? I've
been wondering that for so long.
And I'm 100% believing this now just because of this eugenics thing and the forcing of children. I 100% now think Annie's turning for our team. I think we have the female Titan on our team.
Okay, well...
I almost have no regrets about that. No doubts about that.
Okay.
I don't know.
So how do you think she's getting out? Because she's not getting out
That's the
of
thing.
her crystallized form.
That's the thing I don't know. I don't know if we'll...
Is she even
I feel like
conscious?
it would be cool if we address it before we leave. Otherwise, we're not seeing her until like maybe part 2. What I would like though is like out of all the 3 of them, she was the one who always seemed to have the most issue with everything that was happening. She didn't want to kill Marco. She was
a
like,
very interesting character.
She was like, you little shits. Like, you shitting me right now that this is what I have to do? Also, like, the whole OVA of showing how almost human she is and how she's struggling to know that she has to go do this thing right now. Also, the thing with her father and how she relates to the guy who's a father figure for her in this area. And I was watching it with my family, and he literally says, you can stay with me if you want. So it's almost like, is this supposed to be read as like, here's your opportunity. You can have the life that you were stripped of and fight for these people.
Yeah. And even the thing of, too, with, you got to think about it, her time's probably getting up, though.
Yeah.
So 13 years.
Well, I was going to bring up not just her, Reiner, too.
Yeah. And Bertolt.
Well, they will be in the same position. I think they probably got, in my mind, I feel like they got it around the same time Eren.
They were kids.
Maybe even after Eren.
No, they had to get it before.
Before Eren. Okay, so it might be like 6 or 7 years left for them.
So the other thing too is, like Annie, just like the way she, I'm with you. I think that she could be a turncoat, and like it could be as simple as Eren uses his hardening ability and cuts her open.
Ooh,
or we've also
Diamond versus Diamond.
They have excelled in technology in 3 months more so than they have in like 50 years.
Yeah.
So we don't know. Like they could find a way to like make a super powerful drill out of the crystals that they have.
Yeah.
They also make it a pressing point for her character. She struggles she can't figure out why she spared Armin. She says, "Why did you do that?" It's because she knows that what she's doing isn't right, and she was able to figure it out easier than Reiner and Bertolt. It also is probably easier for her because she didn't do the genocide like they did.
Yeah.
They were the ones who committed it. She just was
there.
She was a bystander who is affiliated.
Yeah.
Which is it's a little bit less bad.
Yeah.
It's still partaking, but
I have a question for that too. Mm-hmm. Don't you think with how powerful those 3 were, you got the armored, Colossal, and female Titan, that they could have just taken Eren in the night and just been done with this already?
When?
In the very first season?
They didn't know. That's the thing. I brought it up with Will.
But they watched him transform in the 10th episode.
Yeah. And what's the next things that transpire? They seal the wall, and the very next thing Eren gets sent to jail. They're separated.
And then Annie tries to hunt him down.
That's the very next opportunity she had. So they tried.
And also Reiner had his mental fucking slip up. So like that could have just hindered it could have gone smoothly if they all were together, but Reiner went into his fucking what happened to Marco? You know what I mean? Like
the issue is literally the last half of season 1 and season 2 is literally like a 5-day span. There's almost that's somewhat not true, only because I think a month literally passes after Levi's foot and the operation to get Annie. But regardless, the very next time Reiner ever sees Eren after the woods is the wall where he attacks him. Like that's the first time they see each other, and he immediately just let's do it.
Yeah,
bye.
Let's go right now.
So much so they even forget to think of Annie in consideration. Alright, that's the end of season 1. The last thing I had was no regrets. I just said was that the triggering moment for Levi. We kind of talked about that. Also, do you think there's anything else worth reading about the Underground before we end the Underground talk?
No, I think that's done.
I only bring it up because my brother was talking to you or something about he thinks some whack theory that there's something weird with the Underground.
Maybe that's the minerals.
I think that's probably just where the
sparkly ceiling.
Yeah, the sparkly ceiling, the fossil fuel. I mean, I don't know.
That's one of my questions, but I'm not going to bring it up right now.
It just feels so bizarre to make a whole... The society seems too corrupt to have considered making a slum area for the poor. It's just a weird place. Why is that even there? In the society that seems to only ever care about their own interests. Alright, season 2. This is where a lot of bizarre questions come up. But starting with the Beast Titan episode... 1 Titan per each wall or many. And now we know it's many. And they are Colossals with presumably hardening. Are abnormals created as a result of a command from a shifter Titan? I bring this up only because the Beast Titan shows up. It's our first instance of a commanding Titan who can turn what Titans do. And the first time we see this Titans appear in that episode, they walk up, boom, and start doing their bizarre thing. So were they standard before that? and they were just told to command once you see humans, go crazy, go stupid. Like,
maybe he was just telling him, chill out, don't. I don't know. Don't be abnormal. Just relax and then go.
yeah, but that's what I mean. Are abnormals a byproduct of commands that were never turned off?
When we saw the whole restorationist get transformed, we did see one person transform who was doing this.
Yeah.
That abnormal dance.
Good point. And that was the toad one, too.
Yeah.
One of them was the toad one that jumps and eats Aaron. That's crazy. That's
Aaron's
the one that
leg.
eats Aaron's leg.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean,
Well,
the
no,
one
it's the one that swallows Aaron is the beard one.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
Those
all
are
there.
That was the abnormal
Yeah.
crew. So, okay, that kind of debunks it. Abnormals might just be abnormal.
Yeah.
Just a variable. Didn't work with that person.
Yeah, I don't...
It's weird, though.
I don't know. The whole abnormal thing, I know you have a whole list about that later on, but I don't...
It's weird.
don't
And
really make
why
sense
did
to me.
Zeke Yeager get involved then? And why? Was he sent to help, take charge of the situation, or does he have... Are they forcing him to redeem his family name because of Grisha's failure? Because he is, in fact, a...
Eldian.
Eldian, and not...
I don't think it's any of that. I don't think he's pressured to get it done because his dad did that. Maybe it's because he was thinking Reiner and Bertold and Annie were taking too long.
That's what I was kind of figuring, that the whole operation was taking way too long. Like, they'd been there for, 5 years?
Or was it like that was wave 1? He's the second wave of the invasion.
Well, I don't even think it can be his dad anymore. I don't even think he knew his dad was alive at that point.
Yeah.
Well, and also...
Did he?
No.
No,
I
because
think they think he was dead.
just lasted.
I don't think he knew that he got one of the 9 spirits.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, you're right,
was
because
just a
no
kid.
one survived that wall. But that,
Except for him.
No one. There's no witnesses. So who? How?
But
does
no
he
one
know?
returned, so I mean, they probably could have assumed that Grisha escaped somehow.
Yeah, who knows?
The other thing too is like maybe Zeke was just because you remember he doesn't really do anything in season 2. Like he literally just shows up and scouts it out.
He tests the might of the people at the castle, and then he dips out.
That's literally it. So maybe he just shows up and is like, "Let me assess the situation. I've never been here, so let me see what's going on." He pulls up and is like, "Okay," and then he goes back. He might have seen Reiner and Bertold and realized, "Okay, they're still alive. They'll come see me soon."
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe even remember when he was standing on top of the wall and he was screaming. That could have been a message to them, like, yo.
It's time. Meet me in Shiganshina, boys.
Yeah. Meet me where this all started.
How exactly did Zeke turn Ragako Village into Titans?
That's one of my questions too. How does he have that power?
Do you think
I'm wondering
he
if that's his
snuck in and
screen.
injected them?
I would imagine he injected all of them.
He walks in, says, "Hey, can help you."
So okay, so then when season 3, when are there just human beings all completely lined up, and he's just like, go?
Well, that's,
that's
what I'm talking about. I don't get it.
Well, even his control of the Titans isn't absolute though, because remember when the little dumb-looking one is eating Meech,
Told you to stop.
he said, I told you to stop," and then he fucking crushes its head. So he doesn't even have full control over them. So that's why it's like,
Yeah,
you know,
and I have some. We'll get into that because that will come up again with season 3 stuff. All right, next one is the home episode. Sasha, I said, what tribes of people have survived this world? It doesn't even seem to matter. It's just Eldians.
Yeah.
We got Eldian people with special blood.
And they had southern accents.
Yeah, well, it doesn't even seem to matter because
Yeah.
like Sasha has an accent. Connie has like a different type. Springer is a different last name from Browse as opposed to
And Jean sounds French or European.
Jaeger. And yeah, that's a French name. So I don't think it matters about ethnicity. It's just people who are granted an ability regardless of your ethnicity. Just the Eldians who are, I don't know.
blood tests. That was crazy.
Blood tests. Who separated with the Reese and why? We now know that. Why do the Titans look no taller than humans? This is the episode where we see
The
Connie's
shorter
dad.
one.
Is that you know that's Connie's
Yeah.
dad, by the way? It's Connie's dad.
The
who's
one that
eating,
Sasha fights. The one that's like in the house. That's
his dad.
Connie's
crazy.
dad.
The
Yeah.
one that's like 12 feet tall.
I told Will about that the other day
Damn,
when I was
how'd
looking
you
at the
know that?
picture. You look at the picture of Connie's mom or whatever.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, when you look at the
something
picture
like
of Connie's mom and dad, you're like, oh, that definitely looks like the
His
one we
mom.
saw is definitely his mom. But then when you look at it, you're like, actually, that looks like the dad too of
Like,
the one we saw.
Dad had to go somewhere, and that's where he went.
What, did you just transform him? And it said go.
Probably. I mean, like, well, he probably just transformed them.
And
so
they
he could
failed.
have-
They just kind of like failed.
They did.
Yeah.
They got washed every which way about it. So.
Maybe he was testing it out.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I know we're jumping the gun, but all of those Titans that he had, that he transformed, the Cart Titan, he probably just told Cart Titan, yo, go back home, or hey, come here, bring 50 Eldians, and we're just gonna like, that's what he was just carrying, like slaves in his backpack. Remember, because there's all the other barrels in there.
Yeah.
So that's where all those other Titans came from. Like,
he didn't. Eldians rounded up.
Yeah, not like he didn't raise them from the dead or get them from inside the wall. He literally just brought them from Marley, Eldian Kingdom area. Brought them over the sea.
Are you sure? Because the Connie's village was completely empty, though.
I'm not. Yeah, but
there was no blood.
But they killed a shit ton of them. I'm saying
all those ones are 100% dead. They killed them off by the end of season
I'm saying
2.
at Shiganshina fight, season 3, part 2.
I'm
saying those.
And we do know
time
passed. So there's a strong chance all of them went back to homeland before this.
I got it.
All right.
Because they had to take Ymir back too.
This is a random one, and I don't. Can the Titan crystal change its chemistry, or I was kind of just talking about like because it's a wall. Does the crystal? Like, we haven't really been specified on, like, why it's crystal and then it's a stone-looking material.
Yeah,
and
it has no creases.
And Reiner has, like, stone
it's
and
like,
then crystal.
Yellow
it's weird.
stone.
Yeah, because...
He looks like he's made out of the wall, now that I think of it.
Whereas Annie and Aaron look like they're using, like, the
vials.
The chapel, like, underneath.
Chapel crystal stuff.
Yeah.
Damn, is there a difference between those two, then?
Yeah,
That's why I kept bringing up, like, Reiner is specifically the armored Titan, and then there's vials that say armor.
Yeah.
It's very confusing
But
to
it's
me.
also an issue because our characters have named all of this. It's not been named by the people who do it themselves.
Yeah, or the people that, like, have created the shit.
Like, what is Reiner's actual
title
from Marley Town? This jumps ahead. Most of the season 2 stuff is all answered already. So episode 10, the children, is the next big one. Where is Ymir really from?
I was gonna ask that too. Is she even from Eldia?
I don't think she's from that area. I think she's probably from a smaller place that is
Like
dominated
Egyptian
by them.
Yeah.
Remember, it's a whole continent.
Yeah, they probably dominate the slums.
deserty area.
Yeah. Who are those police? I think it's the police that we know.
What do they call them? The secret or the security?
The Marley public security.
Public security. That's what
It's
it
like
was.
what was the Nazis police called? Gestapo.
The Gestapo. They're like special
Secret
services. Secret
You're talking
police.
about his death squad, with the SS on them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's the same type of people, just different region, different clothing. Why was the cult worshipping a king they did not know? I think we can assume it's because it's all a shared religion now.
Yeah.
Or
Ideology.
Yeah. How do they have the serum in mass production? Now we understand, because they are the society. We don't know how they got it, but now we know they are connected with the main society.
Well, still, but it's like, where do they even get the Titan's spinal fluid? Because they send the Titans over that way. So it's like...
That's one of my questions.
Maybe they keep a Titan, like, on chains in a... They might have, like, a little stadium that they just keep a couple Titans and then they just
Take some juice every once in a while.
Yeah.
Is it one of the other 9? One of the other 7 that they have?
True. Maybe they could take their spinal fluid.
They just have somebody chained up.
Ugh, who knows?
Or even they just, like, Ryan...
You're going to be a warrior. Nope, you're just going to be...
Yeah.
Or indentured slave.
Yeah.
Or it's just like, Reiner, hey, today's your daily shots, and we just pull out all your juice when you're in the armored form.
Sure. Sorry. Gotta check on. Oh, I forgot we have a backup camera. Never mind.
And I mean, we've got...
It's red dot right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Red dot.
Yeah, I can see it.
We haven't used that camera in so long.
We've got 30 minutes, basically.
So just prepare. You might be going on a slower quality camera for the rest of this at some point. Okay. But still in this episode, was the turning a punishment, a war strategy, or both? Honestly, it's
all the
problems.
above.
All the above. It's literally all the above, and it's horrible.
It's a punishment because of their race. It's a war strategy against the foreign land, and fuck.
Why do Titans burrow under the ground, like Ymir's? Is it
That
because
I don't
of
get.
being no drive for 60 years? But why do we not see other Titans do that as much? And why does it happen in the outro of season 2, where they just awaken almost from the earth?
I don't know. Maybe it could just be...
She was like burrowed under that thing and woke up because people walked over it.
Well, it was... Remember, it was sand. That
No, she had grass growing over her.
I thought it was like clay or whatever. Clay and like...
I thought she had grass growing over her.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
It was almost turned into a road, too.
Well, they were well outside the walls. There couldn't have been a road.
Yeah, it was in the territory leading to the wall. They haven't made it yet.
Yeah, I mean, it said she woke up in the desert. That's the only thing. But I know, it was more.
There
was
after
grass.
she ate Marcel.
Yeah, but regardless, there's. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really make sense why that happened to her. But she's the only person that we know that's happened to.
Yeah, I just didn't know because of the season 2 outro if there's anything
Yeah.
worth reading about what happens with Titans.
With that, her seeing the Northern Lights, the
all
founding
connecting
Titan,
founding
so
Titan.
she had the eye things. It was also on her traps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's only happened to Armin as well. I think it's maybe the first thing that physically happens to your body when you come out for the first time, maybe. Didn't Armin had his 10-pack immediately, but didn't he
Yeah,
also
he was
have
shredded.
I thought he also had things on his neck too. I can't remember.
I can't remember.
I don't remember that either. But it also could just be for the fact that she was in a Titan for 40 or 60 years or whatever.
Yeah.
My other question with that, because we're on that topic, is there another meaning behind the marks, or is it just because they just came out of a Titan?
I think it's
I think
the
it's
strip
just
off
yeah.
of the membrane it's stuck to your face. Because Reiner, I mean, they all have it in different places. The real question is, why does Reiner's make him have this weird chin? You see how he has his bone structure changed inside it? He's got a big forced out chin. I don't know.
And
now,
Bertold had a skull.
Yeah, his skin disappears. He
Yeah.
almost replicates how the Colossal
Yeah.
looks. The finale of season 2. Is the Smiley Titan's appearance coincidence or something else? Why was it this moment Eren tapped into the scream?
Yeah,
Does it have to do with
World-
touching the Smiley?
Yeah.
World blood.
Literally, it's because, yes. How much control does Eren have with that power, and how does it work comparative to the command power Zeke has?
Got no power because he doesn't have royal blood.
Yeah.
Yes, he's got no connection or control of it at the moment.
I have a question about Historia because of that, but
Yeah.
wait.
No, you can say it now, because
Okay,
I don't
so
have the story listed on
If he needs Historia's blood, you were saying that Historia would just be on top of him on his shoulder or something. What if it's he just needs her blood so he can just I don't know, loop some blood and hack into it, or does he need
You can
to inject himself with her
do
blood?
a transfusion.
Right.
You can get somebody else's blood if it works with your blood.
Yeah.
How much of her blood does he need? Is it a drop? Does he need a syringe amount? How much does he need?
Take the STD for the
Or does
transfer.
he need to eat her?
That's a good question, because they don't really bring
That's
that
what I think
up.
he's afraid
That's
of.
what the whole debate was in season 3.
Yes.
Who's going to eat who? Eren eat her? She's going to eat him.
I think also, too, it's
Because remember his dad, when he eats Frida in his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the thing. Grisha's Titan did have the purple eyes.
It did.
But not in
maybe,
human form.
Maybe it dissipated. Maybe it doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Not in his human form.
But that's the thing. Did
Can
it
you
dissipate?
hide it?
Did it
Is it
dissipate?
like a Sharingan, you just turn it off?
I don't know.
I don't know. Can we turn Titans back into humans without consumption of a shifter?
I would venture to say, no, for sure. It hasn't happened yet, but I don't think we'll ever get to that place.
Yeah.
Just with the way the show's going, I don't think we're ever going to get, I think it's going to be...
out.
Yeah, I think it's just you eradicate what's here. It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, it's not uncommon for this show. Does that make sense? Jumping into season 3, Smoke Signal. Why is Eren alone? He wasn't alone at the sea. Why did he make it to the ocean? We now know. How much time passed?
A year.
Old story, 2 episodes later. What was the book that Historia had?
So Eren now has 7 years. Sorry.
Yeah, so...
Pain.
And Armin,
As
12.
12. Fuck.
So that book Historia had, I guess we have some idea. It's the same type of books, I'm assuming, that they teach
Grisha
over
was
in Marley
teaching.
Town.
Yeah.
It's common books about the knowledge.
It's literally the Book of the King.
Yeah. How far back does that book date?
The King.
Well, clearly from the beginning.
the beginning.
Yeah.
Literally.
Beginning of Titan land. Because that's the thing. It's she looked pretty normal, or almost medieval times. So we don't even know how far back normal history goes.
Yeah.
Too.
I only have one question for 5. Why Fritz? And that's what I explained to you guys
Why King
off
Fritz?
camera, but I was saying I just found it weird that you would put somebody in a head honcho role who's just not there mentally. You can at least have a buddy of yours pretend to be a Fritz or a person to be the king of this land, and at least can say a yes or no answer whenever you need it.
Instead of an old drunk that just wants to eat and is chilling there.
So, I guess maybe I would say maybe it's just a mockery of the Fritz, but it's not even that. Maybe it's just one of their relatives that they're just having there for the time being, because now the Fritz are the race.
It sucks because he looked kind of cool, not gonna lie. When he was sitting
did.
there, like, leaning on the throne, I was like, ah.
Sin, dear Lord, this is the one with Aaron learning everything. Why were the Race family down in the chapel that night if Frida has already had the ability? Why were they planning on mind wiping because the warriors showed up? I don't know if they even knew about that yet.
That hadn't happened yet.
Yep. What was Grisha's real motive at this moment? We now know that.
To save everybody.
When did this actually take place? It's the question we've been talking about. Man.
Yeah, before they showed up to attack. That's about it. We don't know exactly when, how long.
Why are they even there?
Why are they even there? I mean, they did just say that they went down there to pray a lot, and we did even see, like, when Kenny would show up to their ceremonies, like, in some secret place, and, you know, because remember the first time Yuri's out there, he's just talking to the people, and he's like, oh, that's my guy, I've known him for a while, and then he talks to, not Pastor Nick,
the guy who tortured
the guy,
Pastor Nick and killed him.
The interior police guy. And then, you know, later on Frida does it. It was probably just some ritual that they just, you know, every week we go to Sunday church in the chapel and talk about eating people.
Yeah. You brought this up in this episode. Does Historia now have the erase power? It looks like she does.
Well, she gets...
Maybe. She can see those memories.
She can see the memories. I don't know if she can erase them. That's the thing. It's just, so...
But how the fuck do you put memory in a paper? She touched the fucking paper!
That's
Maybe
what I'm saying.
The DNA.
Wait, did she write it in her blood?
Could have been Ymir's DNA on the paper.
You know, she might...
Fingerprint.
Fuck, man.
Nope. Don't.
I'm not even going to do it. I'm not going to.
She really liked Historia.
She really liked the story.
Good. Marriage.
How long did Frida have the founding Titan?
Not very long.
Not longer than 13 years.
Yeah.
Why did Rod refuse to become a Titan?
That is the big question.
Is it something as simple as he was just too scared, or is there a really specific reason that he didn't want to become the Titan?
I think that he was just a selfish prick, and he just didn't want to use it. He didn't want to sacrifice his own life to only live for 13 years and be stuck with, like... Because you think about it, too, you're not even yourself anymore after that. You're just...
Yeah, he was also kind of against the scare fear that he had of his dad, what you become like your dad.
This is different from the question. We keep bringing up the whole 13 years. I have to ask. It was 13 years after Ymir, the very first Titan, disappeared. We don't really know if these Titan shifters, after 13 years, they will die. I'm pretty sure, right? Or was it...
No.
Well, no, the owl. Fuck me.
No, they said that the
Well, then
the
in that
curse-
case, is it true for every single Titan shifter?
I would say yes, because the owl said that all of them, you would only have it for 13 years.
And I don't really think the Marley people care that much. I assume that the 9 are somewhere in jail right now. Or, I don't know how they have them strapped in. That's the thing. Like, how do you get these people that you hate so much to stay competent in your belief and wait for somebody to just take the role next after another 13 years?
Well, and you gotta remember, too, also, he said, like, Armin was like, oh, so I only have 13 years left? And then Aaron's like, yep. You know, so it's like, it's all of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Ymir Fritz only lived 13 years. They weren't really specific on that. They just said she died, and then her soul got split into 9.
And they call it the Curse of Yamir.
Yeah.
13 years.
So maybe she lived and did her thing and eventually passed away, but then her curse is you can only live 13 years. Which is so random. Why 13 years?
My phone. Because I have the other questions on here, because I was doing it while I was trying to drive.
Terrible. Don't distract and drive. Just drive.
Just drink.
Yeah.
I said just drive.
I know. That was what I heard.
7.
I already did that.
Wish, can only the Reese wield this true ability? Can only their family do it?
It's yes, royal blood.
Royal blood. It seems
Fritz.
to be that way.
Fritz.
What happens when a human consumes an intelligent Titan fluid that isn't a Titan themselves? What happens when Jean
Just
consumes...
eats Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron's neck.
I don't know.
I don't think...
Maybe something terrible would happen.
Because we've never had that.
They never explained that, nor has that happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I gotta pull up the notes on my phone. First time... why is it that... just talking about abnormals in general, Hanji first ever mentions that abnormals are attracted to large groups of people when that didn't seem to be the case anytime prior. It just seems like Titan...
It was specifically abnormal?
She said when the people were like, how do you know that Rod Reese is going to show up here. She says because abnormals are attracted to large areas, but it seems like sometimes abnormals don't even care. Like Isla's Notebook one stopped following them and went back to the tree. So I feel like that was a little weird for Hanji to say. Inconsistent once again.
I think, and I'm just going to say this right now, I think the whole abnormal Titan thing across the board is probably the one thing that's the dumbest thing in this fucking show. Like, I love this show, and I will literally, like, praise this show for being, like, borderline perfect, but the whole abnormal thing doesn't make any fucking sense, no matter what way you swing it. Yeah. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to explain it, and everything else has been explained.
I think it's literally for fun.
Season 4, maybe they get a chance to explain it, but still, I'd just say it's like, at this point, why does it even matter? Like, why would you even explain the abnormal Titan part? Like, at this point, it doesn't matter. The abnormal Titan could be literally any fucking thing. The abnormal Titan could decide tomorrow that it just decides that it wants to suck dick. That's it. And we'd all be like, okay, sure, that's what the abnormal Titan does, I guess.
I only had one for episode 10. It was Kenny's episode. It was, why do you have to pass it down? 13 years.
13 years.
The Grisha episode with Keith, I had a bunch, but I'm sure most of these are answered. Yep, why does he have scuffs? Because he literally came from being
murdering.
scuffed up. How did he, was his medical background coincidence that it happened to come back to him? It's no, that he's being a mole for a good reason. He's just lying.
Well, he did say his dad had a clinic and he took over it.
Yeah.
We don't know what a clinic is over there.
Yeah, I mean, his dad was like, he trained to be a doctor. I mean, because he met the guy and he was like, why do you have that scar?
Yeah.
What happened?
I guess he
to
could
you?
be telling the truth too, because if he ate the owl, he might not know right off the bat his memories of the world. And then, oh, I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
Hook me up with all this.
Trust me.
Was he running away from his society?
Yes.
Yes.
Essentially.
Was he on good terms with Homeland?
No.
Fuck no.
Did he steal the books or did he write them himself? He wrote them himself. Was everything for Eren, or did he have like-minded people in mind to take on what the books say?
Don't know.
I don't know, because it
Yeah.
says
Don't fucking know.
Just for fellow patriots. So I think if people read the books, he's hoping what is it?
Eldian.
Eldians would pick it up and know.
Make an OVA just about Grisha's head, please. Just what goes on inside of it.
All right, this is all part 2 now, where we just have been through. This is the whole Zeke power thing, and just the idea of those bodies being lined up for the ring. Can a dead person, a dead Eldian, still be injected and come back?
No, because
No,
they
you
said
have to be on the verge of death.
Okay.
I don't think you have to be on the. That's the last possible time you could do it. Is on the verge of death.
Okay.
Because I mean, they injected Dina Fritz wasn't on the verge of death. She was just tied up and got roughed up.
Then I would.
I mean, are we gonna?
She's the founder. I don't know what.
Well, okay. All of the other Ymir, she wasn't on the verge of death. They literally just tied her up, and took her to the wall. She wasn't even beaten up or abused.
Oh fuck, that's true.
So like, you don't have to.
I don't know.
None of them have to be on the. You just have to be alive.
Hurt? Do you have to be hurt?
No.
You just have to die after you've been injected.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, you essentially die after you've been injected. You turn into a Titan. But yeah.
That's why I wasn't sure. And the reason I brought that up is because I was wondering if all the bodies were dead and he had shot them up, and once they were shot up, he could just control when they spawn.
Dude, you know what's crazy? And I just thought of this. It could easily have been as simple as a mechanism. Like, we don't know what kind of technology they have. What if he has a remote control
To inject them all at a time.
Yeah, in there and just has something to just inject them. I mean, that's a little far fetched, but we don't know what kind of technology they have.
What if it's his screen? His Titan ability.
Once again,
we haven't seen the Beast Titan do anything.
I don't know what the.
We got the backup.
Oh, hi! Now we're on backup, guys.
Yeah.
Welcome.
What's going on?
You made it this far. I'm sure you don't care about the backup. How does the conscious ability work?
I don't fucking know. That is so. That's your abnormal thing for me. That's fucking ridiculous. How do you explain that?
Parasites.
Terraformers.
I just think it's a little frustrating because it's so random. Like,
it is.
It was it's like a plot armor thing they just threw in so that like Reiner could have a cool come back to life.
Yeah.
So weird.
Is Reiner, and this kind of goes for all of them, is Reiner really in control of his own body when he's comatose? It's kind of what I was talking about. Like, is he mentally the one shifting the conscious once he physically gets stabbed and supposedly killed in that moment.
I mean, he said, I shifted my conscious.
Yeah.
He said he was, and then when he woke up, remember when he woke up after he got his face blown off and Bertold nuked everything too? He even then was like, I don't really know what's going on right now. Like, he had a concussion. He was like, I don't really know what's going on right now.
Did the spirit keep him
well,
alive?
if you really think about it, his whole upper head was blown off too. So,
True, so
his brain was regrowing.
Well, that's what I mean, like...
Well, he knew
spirit...
some things, because he said, I know my mission, I have to get Aaron.
But what if it's like the
Bertold
spirit that's
changed.
melded? What if it's the spirit that's melded to him is making that call to help him revive? Surely the spirit doesn't want to die off just yet, right?
I mean, it gets revived no matter what.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't have any care for its own life. 3:15. All of what transpired between the warrior monkey and Joltine. Oh, we never know. We still don't know yet what happened with Ymir and the monkey and all of them when they went to Homeland. I don't know if it matters at this point.
I mean, she got eaten.
She's dead. Yeah.
Do you have to be alive for the serum? Okay, yeah, we talked
Yes.
about that. Who is the cart titan? Are they a shifter or are they an intelligent titan trapped in an abnormal body?
See, like what I brought up with the whole Titan bowing to Isla, it might be. I don't.
But like,
it's so confusing.
What happens if an abnormal consumes by accident a shifter? We've never had an abnormal eat a shifter.
Do we know that though?
Ymir could have technically been an abnormal because she fell asleep and just sat under sand for God knows how long.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Have we seen any normal Titans run? No, they just walk. She was running through the desert.
Yeah, maybe she's
be
probably
moving like an animal
She's
too.
probably like an abnormal then.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Yep, this is not the case anymore. Did Germany and Japan win the war? It's not our world.
No, it's not our
It's
world.
not our world. It's not Wolfenstein.
No, it's not Wolfenstein at all.
Is this Earth our Earth or a different reality? I think we can just say it's a close reality.
Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist.
How much has technology advanced since Grisha's time in Marleytown? Which I don't have that name, but Marleytown.
Eldia.
Eldia Kingdom continent.
Because we have at least how many years since 20 years of advancement since Grisha was there? We haven't been there yet.
Minimum 13, then you plus 5, so 18-ish years.
Yeah.
Maybe, no, because he had to meet Carla and get married. So yeah, you could say 20 years.
Yeah, okay. So technology
Plus Aaron being 9.
Technology might be a little more advanced. Yeah. Alright, and now it's no longer about episodes because we're pretty much caught up to that point, but now it's literally topics. I just have questions about... Go ahead.
Why do Titans eat people?
Perfect, I'm about to get...
Why do Titans eat people?
Let's jump into the Titan category.
Why?
Starting with shifters, because this is the big stuff all now. What is the lightning strike?
Yeah, what is that? Blitzkrieg.
What if
Blitzkrieg. Lightning War.
Why do they come from a lightning bolt?
What if that's like the spirit coming down from heaven to
Hey, it
go
could be
into their
the
body?
lines.
I'm going with that now.
Yeah,
Spirits.
good job, Dan.
Yeah. I
name's
also
Will.
Dan, nice Dan. I also said, and I said this in an earlier video, and I had this weird dumb realization, but the whole reason that regular Titans eat humans is because they're trying to find someone to turn back to normal.
That's true.
That is my thought process behind that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's fact, but that's just my headcanon that I made up.
Where do the Titan bodies come from? Because it's like skin strips that form
Yeah,
around
how do
it.
they form,
Probably
yeah.
from the lightning. The lightning probably provides the body. Is the Titan a shared mental space?
Possibly.
Possibly.
With what we have now, I'd say possibly as well.
Well, I want to ask one.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna kind of go back away from topics. So Armin is now a Titan.
Yeah.
And he's gonna cope with that. How do we think that is going to go? Because right now it's pretty hard for him. He is in the mindset of, I don't deserve this. It should have been Arvin.
Yeah. Well, who knows?
I
mean, he was able to have a good time at the beach, unlike Aaron.
I think that it won't hit him as hard, but it might toughen him up a little bit to the world. Like
Yes.
I think he'll grow up a lot through this, knowing that he's a ticking, not a time bomb, but true. He's
That's his scream.
He's not gonna have forever for it. The other thing that's kind of interesting though too is that
I just realized I can move the camera up towards us.
Looks
I know.
so foggy. Am I the only one?
That's
Yeah,
what
it
the
does.
quality used to be like on our YouTube channel.
Or it's just the lens is filthy.
All right, so yeah, Armin.
But I think he'll grow up and toughen up a lot and kind of not be cold to the world, but I mean, he's got to realize, like, I'm only here for a little bit. We need to, make an impact. The other thing that's kind of interesting about the whole thing is that they don't have any spinal fluid now. There's no Titans around, unless they go back to that one that was crawling. They have no way to get spinal fluid. The spinal fluid also evaporates. We didn't talk about this, but it evaporates when it hits air.
Yeah,
So
that's not good.
that's not good. But they also don't have any more. So, like, once Aaron and Armin die...
Grisha's notebooks.
Yeah, if Grisha has a way to teach us how to find that out, but until then, if they die off something in a battle, like we don't, it's not like we can be like,
Oh, yeah.
go eat them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like we're done.
They should have thought that before they used it.
Yeah, they use that on Armin. I'm glad he's back.
I mean, they've got.
I'm
10
not saying it was a bad choice. I'm just saying they should have thought to replicate it.
They have 7 years to try and figure out. Well, they did. Remember, every time they opened it up, they were like it started to evaporate, so they couldn't even do anything.
Okay. Do you think Aaron's gonna help him?
Armin?
Yeah.
In what way?
Like learn how to be a Titan.
Yeah.
Probably. I would assume so, but it also depends on how mentally
different thing, maybe.
how mentally detached Aaron
Right.
becomes.
Well, I mean, think of how like Aaron's mindset when he was learning to become a Titan. They're gonna go through that again with Armin.
It was also easier for him because it coincided with his own desires. I want to kill Titans, so it was a lot easier. Whereas now, every time you're killing a Titan, it's killing one of your people. Also, your power isn't really combative. It's explosive and defensive.
Yeah.
That's all Armin is. He's a bomb that happens to also be a castle. And it's not really effective like Aaron.
Howl's moving castle.
Yeah, really. Why must you inflict blood drawn damage, and why do you have to have a clear goal?
That's
Anime.
I think
that's
anime.
yeah.
Anime, blood sacrifice type of deal, I'm guessing.
Can you only receive this ability through consumption of another shifter? Do you have to be a standard or an abnormal to transfer back after consumption? Meaning, can you be a person, like I said with Jean, and take the ability?
I don't know about that, but the only other way you can get the ability is if it's just random luck and there's no one eats a previous Titan shifter.
Yeah.
As they explained.
Can multiple people or multiple Titans share the spinal fluid if consumed at the same time?
What do you mean?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Say those two little baby Titans that were fighting at the Utgard Castle happen to bite Reiner's neck at the same time, and they both got the liquid in their mouth. Would both of them be able to become that 9th Titan?
No,
I don't think so.
because there's only one spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it would go to maybe one of the two.
Wherever the conscious lies.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
someone ate
God
his
damn
legs.
it.
If someone ate his legs and
So
another ate the
stupid.
top, wherever the
Somebody
conscious
eats
was.
his lower back. Somebody eats the nape.
Why is it specifically spinal and not the brain in this
It's
show?
spinal.
I feel like it's probably just because of the whole
Memories.
Why memories?
Dealing with that's where like your brain is connected to your spine.
Well, I was saying more of like a nervous system thing. Like that's where like all the control kind of comes into
Control
play.
functions.
So it's like maybe that's why it's there, because their conscious doesn't reside in their mind. It resides somewhere in the nervous system, wherever they want it to reside. So, I don't know.
This is for standard Titans only. Why is the killing blow, ironically, the nape when no shifters are inside? I think it's because technically they are
The human
inside.
is inside.
They're
yeah.
humans
The
inside.
conscious of it is inside, and when you kill the conscious of a standard Titan, they're gone.
Well, yeah.
So what happens to the human body?
There
just
is
disappears?
no body. The body is the big form. It just gets
Oh,
enlarged.
right.
yeah.
There's no
I mean,
or human.
that's not necessarily true though. They could be. Oh, then what do you do with like someone like Connie's dad, who's like only a few meters?
Yeah.
So I mean, did the human body shrink down? But then you think about too, where you look at like Rod Reese, like they were looking for the specific part of the nape. Now, granted, it was just like a chunk of meat that looked like a fucking like slab,
Turkey.
like a turkey or ham, but like it was kind of like perfect size for his body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why it's like maybe their body is in there. They just can't do anything about it.
Why do they seek humans only and not for food? I think it's what Will's talking about. I think that
Trying to
because it's
shift.
mentally instinctual, they're trying to get back to being a human. Is every Titan as a result of an injection? Standard Titan. every standard Titan we've seen roaming around like a zombie, are they all just literally injected people?
I would say, yeah. They've been doing this for years, it seems like.
The only reason I don't know is because how did Ymir Fritz get this all started? You know what I mean? Like, where does that come into play? Like, that was one of my questions before this, before we got the real answers. But, like, now knowing it kind of clarifies it a little bit more. Like, how did Ymir Fritz make other Titans?
That's what I wonder, because even before we had Dino or any of the Fritzes, we knew that there was a woman who was given the ability, and that would obviously
Ymir.
be an intelligent Titan.
What do you mean by that? Do you mean when she broke off into 9 parts?
Anytime. There had...
After the devil gave to the woman, that was obviously an intelligent Titan. So where do the standards come as a result of that? How does a standard... where is the chicken and the egg? Where is that even idea start from?
Yeah. It could be like... I don't know. I mean, it could have happened after the 9 split.
Oh... What if it's like that? What if that's where the parasite idea comes from? Like, once you introduce a Titan, a new specimen to the world, it's like a toxin to like the new environment. Like when you have a new species introduced to an environment, different types of outbreaks or things come from it. What if it's like not only a gift, but to a human's empowerment, but it also spreads a disease as a result? Like, it's a double whammy. And then I don't know. Maybe it just brought I'm so bent on the parasites. Like, what if it just brought a new issue to the world as a result? I don't know.
Yeah, it could just be like, because remember, they did talk about how, like, when the Eldian Empire was, I know that this isn't, like, clear, but I almost feel like both the stories could be true, like Marley's side versus Eldian side, where it's like, Ymir built up this world and made it nice.
Yeah.
Then she died and the 9 split off, and then they started doing the fuck shit.
Yeah,
like,
the Titans.
Like started fucking random people and trying to spread their genes everywhere. And maybe that's when they started spreading.
And maybe that's where the stupid Titans started coming from. I don't know.
And the cleansing too.
Maybe maybe if the demons, aka Titans, mated with the humans, whatever horrid thing came as a result of that, they took that spinal stuff and started shooting it up into people. I don't know. Maybe it's the serum of the result of the mixing of the species.
Yeah.
Nephilim, man. Who knows? Where does the injection come from? Who made it? Who created it? We kind of just talked about ideas of that. Are Titan capabilities and reactions based on who the individual was prior? Why do we have Titans going beep, bop, beep, 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 beep? Or just hiding behind a tree.
I feel like it's just, I'm just going to chalk it up to... I'm going to chalk it up to anime because I have no real reason to figure that one out.
Alright, well now...
Beard guy just turned into a beard guy Titan.
Oh, also, the fact that standard Titans can in fact identify intelligent Titans. They tried to eat Eren, and they tried to eat... they did eat Annie, or tried, and Reiner as well once commanded.
That's another reason for my whole... Their goal is to eat humans, and then when they see a Titan shifter who's in Titan form, like, we finally found him. We know the proof.
And with Annie,
Now Will's favorite part, I listed off all the different types of abnormals we've come across.
Stupid.
Really?
One that jumps like a frog.
Stupid.
Crawls like a crab and lizard.
Stupid.
Ignores people. Swallow whole instead of biting. Stalked and then hide. Lay down or bow down. Audible noises but no actual words. Sometimes words. Attacks, then evades or shifts their action entirely. Goes to a high concentration of people. Sees people glowing like golden lights, which is Rod Reese, which was weird as hell. Remember, you see his vision and people look like lights. Can recognize people from their past and hold back their urges. So,
what's the question?
What do you make of that?
What do you make of that? I feel like since there is... Sorry, that scared me. I guess my honest, opinion of the abnormal thing really at this point is, since we know that there are vials that they make specifically to give to certain types. I'm going to make you 3x4.
Yep.
I'm gonna make you hardening.
You're
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
make
crazy.
you. I'm gonna make you. They might have specific ones that just make you like it's just an X factor crazy.
Do you think they take the genetics of animals at all and mix it in the vials to try to get a fun one? Let's mix a frog and put it in the human. F them up and make them a little leak code.
Or they actually the Marley people just actually suck at making this and they don't know about the side effects of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you make a drug and like you don't realize it's going to give you pancreatic cancer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't know it's going to make the Titan have some type of like mental deficiency or some type of like emotional or physical characteristics that they wouldn't have expected.
I don't know. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Maybe it's their personality when they're human. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't have a reason for it.
It's stupid.
It's anime.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What events led to the variable manifestations? Does the environment affect their growing conditions? I think we can say yes because Rod Reese couldn't grow out of the building he was in, and now his arms and legs couldn't compare to his chest. I don't know.
I still think it could have been something with his back, because his back was broken.
Connie's mom as well.
That's a good point.
Connie's mom's arms and legs didn't grow, but her body did.
Yeah, I think it's just a weird mix of environment and what do you have going on personally.
The serum was like so fixated on trying to fix his back, it went overboard.
That's all for the Titans. Now just the individual powers for Eren. He seems to be able to look into the future. We kind of know about that. He's able to go berserk and meld Titans into him. We talked about that. He kind of shares a space maybe mentally. This is a stupid one. This is probably an anime thing. When he fights Reiner in 2x7, when he gets enraged, little orbs of red and green spout out of him.
He's spitting out blood.
Okay.
Because he was getting his ass kicked. That's an anime thing.
He can scream. He can use the scream ability without being in the Titan form. And he can't fully use the founding ability. We didn't know about that because of blood. So...
A follow-up question with that. What is the attack Titan's ability?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I think it'd be a cool
Is he just a good fighter, or...
Is it the whole freedom thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know how much of it's chalked up to Eren's own ability. The Reese, as... What's up?
There was also at one point you were going to bring up why his veins are rainbowy.
Yeah, I ended up looking at that scene again. I think it's just like how we see in the Season 3 Part 2, how you see the Titans out in the field, like, the skin's wrapping. I think it's just the light reflecting on it, and it's kind of just, like, glowing. I think it's just the skin wrapping down, as opposed to rainbow coming into him.
Yeah, but it just, the way it went, though, like, when he put up his hand and it, like, regrew, or it grew in, it did have, like, the green and red, like, it maybe wasn't rainbow, but it was at least, like, green and red, like, veins intertwining. But then again, like, I think that could be the whole sky connecting coordinate.
I was gonna say, it kind of looks also
thing.
like... It also looks like the lightning strike when Reiner and him are falling off the wall, and he says, "I'm gonna effing kill you," whatever, and then he forms around you. It's the same rainbowy stuff forming to create him. So it's like the rainbows are creating him. The Reese power: as humans, they can erase individuals in physical proximity and restore memories. It seems. As a Titan, it seems like they can do that in a greater size proximity, and they can control Titan's will and movement with the founding Titan ability. Don't know if there's anything else, but I think that's what the specificity is. I don't think the founding Titan is their ability. I think they just can do the mind wipe thing, and the founding also happens to be in their possession.
Yeah.
Dude, isn't that so weird that Eren can command Titans and his brother can technically do the exact same thing?
Yeah,
as the beast.
It's like they're meant for being the founding Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like natural successors
I also
for that.
realized this a couple minutes ago. Zeke has royal blood, so if there's ever going to be an episode where they fight, he's going to tap into some abilities.
True. If he gets his hands on him, he could grab him and be like, or like have him in a chokehold and be like, Titans, get him, run over.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or some more visions where he'll know what to do next.
That could make him like serve Eren. You can make the beast freaking subordinate to you.
That's Eren's advantage.
Yeah,
that's a huge advantage.
You can turn the bloody monkey into your servant.
Kind of fucked.
But that's the other thing.
Then we don't know about his though.
We don't know what happens to Eren as a result. That could be what happens. He might make the monkey serve him, but as a result, it will kick in Aaron's evil drive all the more. Like, as he continuously makes him, like subordinate, it could lead to his craziness. That would be cool. And then I just have, like, you know, just the powers in general. Ackerman's, Reese. Why do these humans, without any seemingly Titan-related thing, have powers?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then
Maybe
just the specificity
the
of
king
the
or
orders.
Ymir, maybe.
Yeah.
Also, there was one episode you brought up. I think it was when we started or finishing season 2. Aaron does. I don't know if it was Aaron like just ignoring the child version of him. One of you, I think it was you, was like, I think we're seeing the origin of a villain.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking is going to happen in season 4. We're gonna see Aaron lose his shit, and he's just gonna do his own thing now because he knows everything.
Yeah, one of my questions that I had and was going to be just especially with like all of the information that we have now, and if you really think about it, Aaron has he's got 3 options that are going to be sitting out in front of him. Does he defend his people like how the military wants to? Just we don't really want to fight a war against these people, but we want to defend ourselves. Does he listen to his father and do whatever his father had planned, whether it was to wipe out everybody or to completely take control altogether? Or does he end up falling for Zeke and, you know what I mean, succumbing to Zeke's reverse brainwashing of undoing Grisha's brainwashing? I was more so asking what, I mean, you just said you think he's going to become bad. What do you think he's going to do? You think he's going to...
I think he... I don't know if he'll betray his friends, but I just don't know.
What about you?
I did want to bring up, he's been saying the whole freedom thing. In that last episode, the last sequence, freedom's over there, but we have to kill people to get it. Will we ever achieve freedom? So he wants freedom.
But he also said they might have to kill everyone.
Yeah. And the enemy is not just Eldia, it's the world.
What about you? What do you think?
Lord.
What do you think his ultimatum, where do you think his heart is going to go by the end of this?
I feel like it's only 2 options. I feel like I think it's kind of like how Erwin Smith's scenario went down, where I feel like he will have an urge to do something that's not morally good, and that he might start leaning that way, and then what I hope happens, and what might have to lead to what I'm saying, his demise, is having to off himself or something. I feel like he's going to be driven mostly dark just because it's literally been 3 seasons leading up to this now at this point, just showing his mental state almost all the time.
Mm-hmm. Decaying, literally
since the start of all the pressure being put on him from the very beginning. So I feel like it would be not lame, but I feel like it makes the most sense if he goes the dark route for now. I don't know if his character will end on a bad note, though, just because he is our protagonist. Though, maybe he wasn't supposed to be the protagonist of the show this whole time, because we've been following Mikasa and Levi and Erwin for quite some time now. Armin and Mikasa since episode 1, Levi since episode 8, but that's good enough for them to be the heroes if Aaron turns out to be the Vader.
And Armin is the narrator.
Yeah, I mean, you follow... Obi-Wan's in The Phantom Menace, but you're mostly following Anakin's story, and then Obi-Wan takes a more important role as things start to go worse for Anakin. So it can be like Aaron becomes our Anakin, and then we follow. But I also, with that, I think we could also have an arc where after he does horrific things, maybe he redeems his character by the end. Who knows? This show has been very... not against pop culture, but doing a lot of cool things that you don't always see in pop culture, so maybe they'll do a twist on something we know, maybe they'll do their own thing entirely.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem they've kind of subverted expectations.
In a smart and good way.
A lot of times.
So, I guess, because we are almost wrapped up, what should, just before we jump into Season 4, what are things you are expecting? Things that you would like to see, I guess I should say, before we jump into our final season.
You want to go first, since you haven't really gotten a chance all these 6 months to get a chance to say what you want or what you expect?
I mean, I definitely want to see Zeke fight Aaron. I want to see Armin do something with his Colossal ability. I wonder if, I wonder if they're gonna make it to Eldia. If time is gonna pass, because Eren only has 7 years now. That's all I got so far.
I am really hoping for, and I've gotten really excited because I think some of like the philosophical, like mental debates that some of the characters have had like this season, like especially this last part of season 3, have been like really insane. Like everything season 3 part 2, mentally, like what the characters have had to decide and decipher and choose between Erwin, between Levi, between Eren and Mikasa, between Reiner, Bertold, Armin, Flock, and going down to Grisha, like everything that he did. Like, I just really hope that this show can give some like really hard decisions, like create some really. I mean, the circumstances are already tough, but I hope that they create some like really hard decisions that like, I mean, like, not to be like polar. I mean, I think it would be kind of cool to be like a polarizing thing. Like if Eren completely is just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this like the worst way possible that I could do this, but I think this is the right way because of his convictions from what he has seen from his father's memories and everyone else's. Like I just kind of want something like that because I feel like the show, especially this season, has like really pushed like the mental of like, at least for me when I'm watching it, I see a lot of
separation of people's ideas.
Yeah, and just like what would you do in this situation? Because that's what I keep thinking and all these things. Like, what would you do from step 1? What would you do from step 2? What would you do now knowing this knowledge? Well, what would you do if you're Armin or if you're Eren versus Flock or Eren versus Levi? What do you do now that you're Eren and you know all this stuff from Grisha?
Well,
so
yeah.
I'm really hoping for some type of like really powerful messaging going on.
What it seems to be shaping up to, and what's kind of scary is like almost like like you're saying, siding, making sides on decision making. But what's also cool is like we have characters like Reiner too that are out there, and now knowing the circumstances. Yeah, Annie in a safer place than Reiner, though. Reiner's going back to a civilization that hates him.
Yeah.
So, like, what happens with that? Like, we've never, he's in a rare space where we've never had our antagonist go back to a place that's always hated him. And he's accomplished, or actually, he failed his job.
One job.
Him and Zeke, who are both actually Eldians and both hated. What's going to happen with them?
Yeah.
Where do they morally side? Because there's no way, because they've done their task that they were brought up in life to do. They were literally Jews forced by Nazis to go do something, and now they're back in Nazi town. What's going to happen with them? Surely they can't always be in Marley side forever, right?
Yeah.
I can't. It's easiest for me to see with Annie because she's in a safe spot. But like, what happens to the person who's now in between two hard places, between two swords? We got a Jaeger and a Braun, and it's either they're dead or they're getting passed on to somebody else.
Yeah.
You think we're getting a bigger cast too?
I would hope so because
new characters?
We need antagonists who occupies Marley Town. We have to have more characters.
Even on the good guys though, because the scouts is literally 9 people.
Maybe like people like Flock who will come around and we'll have like characters like him. But if we're introducing to Marley Town, I feel like most people like that are going to be small.
Anybody but Flock, please God.
I feel like it'll be smaller characters. Like, I don't think people like Flock or Pixis are going to take up a lot of space. I think it will be our Levi Corps and anyone who follows them. I think we'll be a ton of new people at Marley Town and learn who's the decision making behind this empire, because it's not Reiner and it's not Zeke.
I also would really love, considering we're going to war, I want huge battles.
Yep.
Like,
especially because Mappa took over.
That, yeah, we got a new studio to look forward to, new animation,
new
designs. I'm excited. I want to see, and we saw some of like the glimpse of it in that last like credit roll. Like we saw trench warfare. It looked like, you know what I mean,
World War One.
Like World War One. We saw like
planes.
Planes. We saw warboats. I'm hoping we get like a tank or something. You know, not a tank, but tanks.
Roy said I wanted a tank in the show.
And
I mean, you got a fully gunned boat. Sorry, fully gunned boat.
And I'm very excited to see more. listen,
More Titans.
Aaron and Reiner was fun, but I want to see what other Titan shifters that they've got.
What's the 9th?
That they're ready to send in. Yeah, where's the Jaw one and where's the 9th one?
Who are the new wielder?
Yeah,
who's the new wielder of the Jaw Titan?
Who's the new wielder? And please tell me we're gonna get like some sick fight. I know you want to see Aaron versus Zeke, and I know that'll be interesting. I want Levi versus Zeke again. I need that fight now, like tomorrow. I'm so excited.
I want like a reveal of like I want the ninth ring wraith, the ninth
to be like the most powerful one,
to be like the strongest badass one that appears, like the Witch King. I want a Witch King Titan to show up. I want a freaking Titan that has a weapon. Why do they not have weapons? That is a stupid. They have them in the flashback. Bring me a Titan that has a weapon, and I will be happy. Give the new Jaw Titan. Give him axes. Give the Jaw Titan double axes, and I'll be happy. That's it. Do it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. And give Aaron a shield and, I don't know, a bow and arrow. He shoots a giant rocket, bow and arrows. I don't know. I just need it. Just give me it. I'm good. I got nothing else.
Nothing else?
This is very dumb. You don't even have to leave in the video because at this point no one will see this. Why the fuck in 2.7 did they have the whole rewind thing?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, where it's going down and he's going to fight and it's like...
Yeah.
I think he's just rewinding in his head.
It's just stupid. It's just such a weird thing that they never do again. Why? But yeah.
I did have one thing. Why'd they turn the walls into a religious thing? They saw them as gods.
Probably the easiest way to make them just keep it nonchalant.
And also
distract him with religion.
Well, and also they said they didn't want anyone to break... Like, remember when the wall was broken open?
He said cover it.
He said cover it because I think they were there to protect the nation, but it was also there as, like, that's their fail-safe. Like, if Marley Nation people come to... Or Marley race people come to attack them...
Paradise.
They break the wall at Paradise, and those fucking things just flood and murder every human. So, it's kind of like a don't do it yet, because it might kill all of us.
How'd they know the founding Titan is over there? The Owl knew it, but how'd the Marley people know it's over there?
Because they don't have it there anymore.
Okay.
Well, they said in the history, they knew that the Reese family left, or the Fritz family, and they took two of the Titan abilities.
It's kind of funny, too, because it's like seemingly the most powerful Titan, and it's almost like they're scared of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're scared of what they might do with that power.
Control the world.
Yeah.
Who was in the right? I don't know. I don't like people who have concentration camps. I don't think they're in the right.
Yeah, they're not. Neither side has handled this right. But we ready?
I'm ready.
I'm so tired.
Ooh.
Me too. I'm
Guys, if you made it this far, make sure you leave a like on this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed at this point, I don't even know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Leave a comment about what you thought of our theories. If you don't even know the stuff that is answered yet, join in the discussion with us. Not the manga readers. Don't spoil anything for
no
us.
spoilers, seriously. And if you've seen Season 4 already.
Yeah, we will see you guys in Season 4. We're excited for it, but for the time being, we are going to punch it. Farewell.
Bow!